First broadcast in 1978, the destruction factor is set somewhere close to the present day. Ralph Exon, head of an international fertilizer corporation, has created a new strain of plant in an attempt to combat famine. But it seems that plants can be dangerous things. Deadly even.
The Destruction Factor by James Follett, with Paul Copley and Rosalind Adams. Episode 1, Seeds of Creation.
Kathy! Kathy!
What's the matter?
It's me heart glove.
What?
I think it's beating slow.
Oh, don't be silly. It's another 2 hours before we have to get up. Try and get to sleep.
No, I feel sort of lightheaded. It's like I've been out drinking. It's a funny sort of feeling, it is.
Come back to bed.
It's going to be a nice day. I already do feel funny. This plant's grown since yesterday. Look at the size its leaves are now. Huge.
Promise not to smoke in bed anymore.
Well, just one enough. Down to 10 a day now. Yeah, Kathy, this match is turning like a...
on the bed!
Yeah, we'll need another breathing set. Well, how are we to know it would burn like that? No, it's a usual problem with bungalows, not knowing which room they're using as a bedroom.
We never really had much to do with them. A drink last Christmas, that sort of thing.
But you must know which room they're using as a bedroom.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Detective Inspector Balfour.
I'm sorry, Inspector, but we hardly know them.
Well, he works for that big chemical plant.
Will everyone please get well back? There's nothing to see. Please get right back.
Excuse me. OK, now back. Now there's more vehicles coming with me. Just wait well back.
Anyone in there?
I've no idea, madam. About time you lot showed up.
Look, the fire spread at the garage, Mr. Balfour. We're going to try and drag the van out. Now, one of my lads says there's drums of some sort in the back, but he can't read the labels. You must close the road and get those bungalows evacuated.
He works for the chemical plant. Well, often brings a loaded van home in the evening. Oh, we said it was dangerous, didn't I, Joe?
Yes, all right. Now get well back.
You've got a minute, Mr. Balfour?
Sure.
Thanks for turning up.
I caught it on the car radio. I was on my way home for breakfast. Have you found them?
Yes, they're on the back lawn now. Covered up. Don't mess about. Let the handbrake off and drag it out. I'll tell you something, Mr. Balfour. It won't be any good getting their next of kin to identify them. It's their dentist you'll be needing. That's the van out. One problem less. God, I loathe houses with integral garages. Shouldn't be allowed.
Dentist? But surely the fire hasn't been going long enough to destroy their...
A man and a woman. Do you know how we knew their sexes? By their pelvic bones.
The drums contain diluted weed killer, Mr. Garrard. They're issued by the Eurochem Agricultural Research Laboratories Corporation, ERLCO. Same as the name on the van.
All right, treat it as a fire hazard.
All right.
Well, my wife will be wondering where I am.
Look, it'll be safe to go in the bungalow in 10 minutes or so, Mr. Balfour.
These uniformed lads will cope, Mr. Garrard.
Yeah, look, I'd like you to see inside.
Look, I'm CID. I've just spent 12 hours being interested in crime. Now all I'm interested in is a warm, cosy bed with me in it, asleep.
Look, I don't think this was an accident, Mr. Balfour. I'm certain that Edward and Kathleen Downs were murdered.
Are you sure it's safe? These walls are still giving off heat.
Yeah, well, look, stay on our planks. Don't put your weight on the joists, otherwise you'll go through to the subfloor.
Oh, God, what a mess. My wife will kill me.
You don't need to touch anything, just look. Well, what do you think?
This was a bedroom.
Uh-huh. That tangle of ironmongery is the remains of their bedspread. Medhurst and Williams found what was left of Mr. and Mrs. Downs lying on it.
Nice.
Yeah, but doesn't that strike you as odd? I mean, the woman next door said they weren't crippled, so how is it they died in their bed?
You tell me.
And take a look at this. Just break that piece off. Yeah, there. A small chunk of brickwork. Now look closely at it.
It looks more like a bit of, well, ceramic of some sort.
Yeah, correct, but it was brick. It's been vitrified.
Eh?
It's turned into glass by the heat.
So there's been a fire?
Yeah, a domestic fire, Mr. Balfour, and domestic fires don't generate the sort of temperatures that can turn brickwork to glass. Now, look at this. Earthenware flower pots fused into glass. See, we're not dealing with an ordinary fire, Mr. Balfour. No ordinary fire could do this. We are dealing with the sort of temperatures that are encountered in an industrial furnace. Not the low temperatures you get by burning bedding, furniture and floorboards in the normal way.
Well, what would be the abnormal way?
Any way that introduces an abnormal quantity of oxygen to sustain combustion.
You're leaving me behind.
A forced draft.
Like bellows? Here, or a fireplace, like that one?
No, that was bricked up years ago when the central heating was installed. You try putting your hand up the chimney.
I'll take your word for it. So the room was sealed?
Virtually, yes. And that's where the contradiction creeps in. I mean, in a small room like this, the air couldn't be replenished fast enough to support even a small fire. And certainly not a fire that reached furnace intensity so quickly that Mr. and Mrs. Downs had no time to even get out of bed.
First you tell me it was an intense blaze, and now you tell me that an intense blaze wasn't possible.
All I am saying is there is a contradiction in the evidence. And that the coroner couldn't record anything but an open verdict on the deaths of Mr. and Mrs. Downs until that contradiction is cleared up.
And clearing it up is going to be a police job.
That's right. I'll write up the mystery and you can solve it, each to his own.
Thanks.
Any time. Where will you start?
That's him over there.
Mr. Howard Rogers?
Yes?
I understand that you're the transport manager at Eurochem Agricultural Research Laboratories Corporation.
That's right, yeah. And General Dogsbody, why?
I work there as well. Has he done something awful?
Denise, don't you think it's time you slipped into something opaque?
If you start screaming, I won't hear.
Very nice. I wasn't told you were married.
I'm not. She's just dropped in for breakfast.
Now, I'm sorry to call so early, Mr. Rogers, but it's urgent. You have a driver who works for you at Elco, Mr. Edward Downs.
Ted Downs, yes.
There's been an accident this morning at his home.
What?
A fire.
How serious?
It was fatal for him and his wife. About 2 hours ago. I'm sorry.
How did it happen?
No, we're not sure of the exact details yet. He had several drums of weed killer in the back of his van.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Complex B put in a priority requisition yesterday for 200 litres of diapon. I sent Ted to Cardiff, our production plant, to collect it. He'd have got back late last night and driven straight home. There's no one in Complex B at night with the authority to accept deliveries.
Complex B?
The Industrial Research Unit at Elco, the place behind the high barbed wire fence. Those perimeter surveillance TV cameras feed pictures to your police station.
Well, I don't know half of what goes on in our Nick. So Edward Downs had access to dangerous chemicals? Highly inflammable chemicals?
Well, so?
Well, Edward Downs and his wife died under what is loosely termed as suspicious circumstances. Either someone planted an incendiary device in their bedroom, or, more likely, Downs had been systematically milking Elco of inflammable chemicals and storing them in his bedroom.
Oh, you're crazy. The stuff we produce is so cheap you'd have to steal it by the ton from Monday to Friday to make even a few pounds a week.
It's not unknown.
Look, do you know what we turn out? Cheap fertilisers and herbicides for developing countries. Emphasis on cheap. I wouldn't be working for them if they exploited poor countries. Anyway, none of the stuff's inflammable.
I have to eliminate the possibility that Downs was stealing from Elco.
Oh, how?
By going over your records. Checking every delivery note and invoice for consignments handled by him over the past 2 years.
There were never any complaints about short deliveries.
Good. That means it won't take us long to double-check.
When do you want to start?
This morning, 11. I'll be along with the detective constable.
OK. I'll tell the main gate to expect you. Oh, you'll have to have your pictures taken. You'll be issued with visitors' badges.
We don't want to enter your Complex B.
Oh, you wouldn't be allowed in there anyway, old son. I've never been in there, and I've worked for Elco for 3 years.
Right, your office then. 11. Say goodbye to your lovely friend for me. Be seeing you.
What was that?
What was what?
Listen. Thought I heard something.
Nothing gets through the triple glazing. Oh, I never get used to the sight of silent jets dropping into Heathrow. Let's eat somewhere noisy. That Spit and Sawdust pub we found last year.
Oh, it's been ruined by the Digital Watch and MGB Brigade. How are those two cops making out?
Oh, they're efficient. Last time I looked in, they were ploughing through the third quarter of last year.
It's a bloody cheek, the whole thing.
Hey, have you told Dad there are hordes of policemen picking over company records?
You reckon he'd be interested?
What do you think of my potted plant?
I mean, when did he last shove his nose out of Complex B?
I found it growing in the verge near the main gate. Ah, your Detective Inspector Balfour is heading this way. Look, he's on monitor 3.
Come in, Mr. Balfour.
Find it unnerving the way the doors here slide open by themselves.
Useful when you're pushing trolleys around loaded with computer tapes.
I suppose. I'm sorry to trouble you, but I need your help. These delivery notes have been initialed by D.E. I was wondering who D.E. is.
Oh, that's me, Denise Exon. Show me.
Oh. Didn't I see the name Exon on the board by the main gate?
Ralph Exon, Earlco's technical director, and my father. I used to be his personal secretary until he got fed up with my shorthand and offloaded me onto Keir Hardy here.
Who? Oh, I see.
Yes, she has a regrettable sense of humour and will be brutally punished when you've gone.
Promises. How can I help?
Well, you've initialed 3 of these delivery notes as goods unexamined.
Yes, that's quite normal when there's no time to check a consignment.
Oh, can you remember if there were any discrepancies?
Oh, November of last year. I was Dad's secretary then. No, I can't remember any shortages.
2,4-D. What is 2,4-D?
It's a herbicide, Mr. Balfour. A particularly lethal herbicide. An auxin and turgor pressure herbicide. Do you know what that means?
Hello, Dad.
Good morning, sir.
No, I have no idea, sir.
Auxins are the hormones that are present in infinitesimal but vital quantities in all plants, Mr. Balfour. They control the plant's growth rate. And turgor pressures govern its movements. The bean racing up a stick, the sudden snap of a Venus flytrap closing on its prey, a daisy opening its petals to the sun. They're all governed by auxins and turgor pressures. And man, in his deviousness, has taken those hormones and uses them against plants to destroy them.
He doesn't want to lecture, Dad.
No, it's very interesting. How do they kill plants?
Oh, put simply, spraying a plant with 2,4-D provides a massive auxin dose that triggers explosive growth. Cell division is accelerated and the cells themselves become elongated. The plant outstrips the ability of its roots to provide nutrients and it dies.
Mr. Balfour is investigating an accident, sir. It happened
Edward
this morning.
Downs, the driver?
Yes.
I've heard all about it from security. I hope you're receiving full cooperation from Mr. Rogers.
Oh, yes, indeed. If you'll excuse
All
me.
our records are at your disposal, Mr. Balfour. Personally, I have no doubt that Downs had been robbing this company for several years.
Well, if you've positive evidence, sir, then I'd be
I've no
grateful to...
proof. Hopefully you'll find it for us. Oh, presumably my consignment is still at Downs' house.
Oh, hell, the van. I'm sorry, I'd forgotten all about it. I'll send someone over now to collect it.
No, we haven't got a standby driver. I'll go and get it after lunch.
Oh, thank you, Denise. Well, good luck with your investigation, Balfour.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, yes. Yes, there was something else. It's time we held a few, open days. Through the place, open to the public. Next weekend, say. I'll personally conduct the tours of Complex B, and you can look after the rest of the place. We'll discuss it tomorrow morning.
Well, I must get back to my investigation. Thank you for your help, Miss Exon.
Oh, pleasure.
Oh, you realise what's happened, don't you? Your father spent so much time working alone in Complex B that he's finally blown a mental fuse.
It's odd.
TV cameras, an electric fence, floodlighting, regular security patrols, and God knows what else. £2 million spent on keeping people out, and now he's talking about opening it to the public.
My potted plant.
What?
I'm sure it had only 4 leaves this morning.
At such short notice.
No,
That's what
it's
gets
got
me.
6, 7, 9, 10.
Coming to bed?
We ought to cut down on something. £40 on wine last month.
The soft life demands hard cash.
Nearly 60 quid's worth of petrol went into your Triumph. The embossing on your Barclay card must be worn out from the hammering it gets.
Howard, my precious, you're rapidly becoming a frightful domesticated little boar.
I know what it's like to be poor.
Here we go again. Roots. I'll walk out on you if you start on about your wretched cobbles, clogs and black pudding background.
All I'm saying is that we ought to be...
All I'm saying is that if you're spoiling for a dust-up, we might as well have one. What have you done with my potted plant?
What potted plant?
It was gone when I got back to the office this afternoon.
I've no idea what you're rabbiting about. What potted plant?
The one I rescued from the verge. Responding magnificently to my woman's touch, it was.
Ooh, like I do.
I should be so lucky. It was on my desk.
Oh, that weird thing.
Yes, that. Now, what have you done with it?
Look, love, I swear I haven't touched it. Oh, hang on, though. It was on your desk.
Yes.
Your father was staring at your desk when he came into the office.
Are you accusing poor Dad of stealing potted plants?
No, I didn't say that. I just happened to notice that he seemed to be interested in your desk. Maybe those fuzz nicked it.
Don't be stupid. I suppose you went to the canteen for coffee, as I wasn't around to fetch and carry for you.
Yep.
And you didn't lock the office.
Well, how was I to know that there were plant nappers on the loose? All right, it's all my fault. I'll buy you another one. What sort of plant was it?
That's just it, Howard. I don't know. Which was why I was attracted to it in the first place. I meant to ask Dad what it was, because it was like no other plant that I've ever seen in my life. She's lying. I ain't got any. Honest, I ain't. Let go, you bitch, you're hurting.
You tears wet your head, or Harriet's going to pull all your hair out. Handful by handful. Aren't you, Harriet?
Yeah.
Slow like.
Please. I ain't got any, I ain't. No, watch out.
What's going on here? Now, come on, girls, you've had long enough in the showers. Breakfast in 30 minutes. What's the matter, Anne?
Nothing, miss.
All right, then. Now, come on, girls, you'll all catch cold standing around with nothing on. Breakfast in 30 minutes.
No good doing anything in here. Let's go into a room. We've got the mid in there anyway. Lock it.
Please, no, I ain't got none.
You should open your windows. This room stinks of fags, so where are they?
Know what my boyfriend liked to do to me? Used to work real hard, it did. Sadistic little swine he was.
Show her.
Really hurts. Better have a pillow ready in case she screams like I used to. Hold her still.
No! No!
Do you want her to do it again, love?
No! No, please. They're over there.
That's more like it. Where? Funny noise.
Behind the curtains, on the windowsill.
Can't see no fags.
Nothing except this plant thing.
Where? Look at that.
Where's fags then?
It's twice as big as what it were yesterday.
It's making some sort of noise.
The fags.
In the flower pot buried. What do you think?
Oh, it's a funny looking plant.
Don't make sense. Weren't nothing like as big as this yesterday when I dug it up.
Where'd you find it?
Whole packet. Only 3 smokes. Oh, matches too. Oh, I haven't had a drag for 3 months. 1 each for now. Oh, I feel all funny.
Eh?
Yeah, all light-headed like I've been drinking.
Don't reckon much on that plant. Ugly thing. It's making some sort of noise.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Did your boyfriend really do that to you? What you did to me?
Of course. That's why I stuck him in my mum's pinking shears. That's why they shoved me in this dump. Well, I couldn't tell him in court why I stuck him, now could I?
Oh, look at that. Old fag and not some tatty dogging. Come on, Harriet. Strike a match. Yeah, look at the way it's burning.
Fire engine coming up behind. Pull over.
Someone's cat stuck up a tree.
Howard, stop a minute.
Well, what's the matter?
Pull over onto the verge, quickly. I want to go over to those trees.
Oh, can't you hang on until we get to the office? Oh. Denise! Denise, come back! Oh, my God.
Look, love, go into the trees, not there.
Look, Howard. Isn't it beautiful?
What's that? I've never seen such an ugly plant. Is that what you came charging over here
It's
for?
exactly the same as the one that was stolen from the office yesterday.
So what sort of plant is it?
Well, if I knew that, I wouldn't be so interested in it, would I? It's not unlike a soya bean plant, but the leaves are far too big. Anyway, the soya won't grow in this country.
Well, this one seems to be flourishing.
Have you got a spade?
Oh, damn it. Yes, I knew there was something I'd forgotten.
Don't be cheeky, little fella. I want to show it to Dad, see if he can identify it. And besides, I rather like it. Don't you?
No. But then you always did have lousy taste.
Oh, thanks. Now then, plant.
What are you going to do?
Tear a leaf off to show Dad.
Hey, don't touch it, Denise.
Why not?
I said don't touch it. Ow.
You clobber me, you get clobbered right back.
Well, I was thinking of you. Now, how do you know that thing isn't poisonous?
I don't intend to eat it. Just tear off a leaf.
Yeah, well, supposing it's poisonous to the touch.
It isn't.
How do you know? It's ugly. Now, isn't that supposed to be nature's warning sign? Keep off, I'm dangerous.
You're forgetting something.
And it's only mid-April, so how come this plant's fully mature?
It's been a mild spring. The soil's warming up. The reason I know it's not poisonous to the touch is because the one I had on my desk that someone stole or disposed of didn't hurt me. Oh, God, it's as tough as old boots. Oh, you try it. That large leaf there.
They're all large. Oh, are you sure it won't bring me up in a particularly virulent rash, unknown to dermatologists? Oh, I see what you mean. There.
Right. Thanks. Come on, we're going to be hideously late.
So what are you going to do with it?
I'll call Complex B as soon as we get to the office and ask Dad to have lunch with us at our pub.
Yes, looks like it's Jensen just parked. Yes, it's him.
Have you noticed how worried looking he's been the past few days?
Oh, he's tired. He spent too long shut up in those labs.
Oh, well, at least he's dedicated to his work. Howard, don't go calling him Sir all the time. Call him Mr. Exon or even Ralph. He won't show it, but he'd be secretly delighted.
Oh, sure. Your father has the sort of personality that can freeze alcohol.
Dad.
Hello, Denise. Good afternoon, Howard.
Hello, Dad.
Good afternoon, Mr. Exon.
I saw the menu as I came in. The steak, please, Howard. Well done.
Right.
I expect the vegetables are frozen.
I expect so.
The only food that isn't ruined in a freezer is ice cream. The steak by itself, please, and ice cream to follow.
Anything to drink?
Just the food.
Fine, I'll go and order.
You're looking tired, Dad.
I take it that this little gathering isn't to celebrate an announcement that you two are going to make?
What? Oh, no, of course not. No, I wanted to
How
ask
you run your life is your affair, but I often wonder what your mother would have thought. You know what last Sunday's date was?
April the, 12th. Why? Oh, Lord, Dad, I'm terribly sorry.
I thought you'd forget. I put an extra wreath on her grave with your name on it. Not that one can fool the dead.
Dad, I'm awfully sorry.
Well, be ready in 10 minutes. Well, now. We solved the mystery.
What mystery?
We found an unusual plant this morning. One that I couldn't identify. I'd also found one the other day, but it vanished from the office yesterday.
You found an unusual plant. Ugly thing.
Oh, I doubt it. There's no such thing as an ugly plant.
Oh, my mother had an aspidistra that she used to
There's
keep
a leaf from it in my handbag. I wrapped it in a handkerchief so... Oh, my God.
Oh, what's the matter?
It's grown roots, look.
Oh, good Lord, look at that. They must be, 2 inches long?
Where did you find this plant, Denise?
On the edge of a clump of trees this side of the Skyway service station near the airport.
Well, how on earth can a leaf grow roots?
Well, there's nothing unusual about plants being propagated from leaf cuttings. Commercial nurserymen do it with begonias, gloxinias, symphorias.
Yes, Dad, but these roots have grown 2 inches in 3 hours. I mean, look at them.
Well, I dare say the dark, warm conditions in your handbag are ideal for... Put it away.
What?
Put it away. I can remember the rank, Detective Inspector, but not the name.
Detective Inspector Balfour. Good afternoon, Mr. Exon. Miss Exon, Mr. Rogers.
Hello.
I'm sorry to trouble you, sir, but I've just called your place and your senior lab technician said I'd find you here. It's urgent.
Oh, you better sit down then.
Oh.
Actually, I wanted to see you. I've discovered that our driver, Edward Downs, had been stealing chemicals from Elko.
Oh, how did you find that out?
Oh, that has some bearing on why I'm here. There's been another fire. 3 girls at the community centre, that's the trendy name for the old remand home, were burnt this morning. Had to be taken to hospital.
That must have been those fire engines we saw this morning. How badly burnt were they?
Well, they managed to escape from a blazing room with their hair on fire. They've got extremely severe scalp burns, but the chances are they'll be okay.
What have they been doing?
Oh, they won't say.
Well, then, what has this got to do with Elko?
The fire had the same characteristics as the fire that killed Edward Downs and his wife yesterday morning.
Everything inflammable in the room had burned at exceptionally high temperatures, yes?
How do you know? Have you told him, Denise?
I can clear up the mystery of your 2 fires for you, Balfour. They were caused by spontaneous combustion. Yes, you were right about Edward Downs stealing chemicals from us. But he was clever enough not to steal it while it was in his care. The chemical he'd been helping himself to was sodium chlorate.
How much had he taken?
Oh, probably as much as half a ton over 2 years. Now, anything inflammable that has been in contact with sodium chlorate is liable to burst into flames without warning. Flames that can't be smothered.
Oh, surely cutting off a fire's supply of oxygen with a blanket or rug is bound to put it out.
Correct. But sodium chlorate provides its own oxygen as it burns.
Half a ton.
Hold on. The weed killer we sell under our Pathblitz trade name contains a fire suppressant.
Downs had been stealing unsuppressed site blitz. That's a weed killer sold only to the building industry to clear sites overrun with weeds. It's stored in 10-kilogram containers, so the chances are that Downs had transferred it to smaller containers and had sold it to all his friends.
Well, if that's the case, I suppose we can consider ourselves lucky we've only had 2 fires.
This is mid-April, Mr. Balfour, the beginning of the growing season. The soil is warming up quickly this year. Weeds are pushing up fast, and people's thoughts turn to weed killers. I wouldn't be too surprised if there were a whole spate of fires in the near future.
In The Destruction Factor by James Follett, the part of Howard Rogers was played by Paul Copley, Denise Exon, Rosalind Adams, Ralph Exon, Clifford Rose, Balfour, Peter Wickham, Garrard, Rod Beecham, Ted Downs, Bruce Beebe, Kathy Downs, Joan Matheson, Millie, Karen Archer, Anne, Christine Absalom, Harriet, Debbie Cumming. The production was by David Spencer.
There have been 2 fatal fires already. Were they accident or arson? What makes those plants grow so quickly, and what is that strange noise? Just don't light any matches.
The Destruction Factor by James Follett, with T.P. McKenna, Paul Copley and Rosalind Adams. Episode 2, The Devil's Harvest.
This is Denise Exon calling from Elko. Could I speak to Mr. Balfour, please? Thank you.
What do you want him for?
Oh, Mr. Balfour? Good afternoon. I'm sorry to trouble you, but there was something I meant to ask you at lunchtime. You know, when you were working here yesterday afternoon, did you happen to notice a potted plant on my desk after I'd gone out?
Hey, you're not accusing the police of nicking it.
You did? Yes, that's right. 2 feet? No, it was nothing like as high as that, not more than 6 inches, if that... No, look, I must have been mistaken. I'm so sorry to have troubled you. Bye now.
So, what was all that about?
What time did Balfour leave here yesterday afternoon?
About 3. when I went for coffee. For God's sake, Denise, you're not saying the police took it, are you?
I honestly don't know what to think. Doesn't make sense.
Well, is it worth kicking up so much dust over one miserable little plant when we're going to get another one this afternoon?
It wasn't that small. Balfour thought it was about 2 feet high. And that means, if he was right, that it grew as much as 18 inches in an afternoon.
Wasn't it over this way?
No, near the trees.
Isn't there a law about digging up Flora?
Not if she's dead.
I'm sure it was around here.
It was here.
You found it? Where?
Someone's beaten us to it. Looks like it's been dug up, love, look.
Oh, hell. Oh, come on. Home.
Be a shame not to be after making use of them there woods now we found 'em, missy.
Use the woods? How? Oh, no. Down, boy. Howard.
Come here, me proud beauty.
Oh, Howard here.
To the one.
Howard. No, Howard, that bank's steep. Stop mucking about.
If I go down, I drag it down with me.
Howard. Look at my dress, you idiot. Look at my tights.
Give us a kiss.
Howard, I am lying in mud. I don't like lying in mud. My mother warned me about lying in mud.
What's that noise?
I can't see a thing. Will you get off me now?
Oh, no.
What?
I thought you said that your plant was rare.
Oh, my God.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Complex B, the main research center of the Eurochem Agricultural Research Laboratories Corporation. This lift is taking you down to the lowest level of the center, Complex B7, which is 200 feet below ground level. The air you are breathing has been filtered to exclude all
Very
particles
nice.
of matter larger than 3
It's a
microns.
tape recording of an
which is
actress
3,000
supplied by a theatrical agency.
The main complex cost
Dad,
£3 million.
do you really think members of the public will want to go through the performance of having a hot shower and changing into sterile coveralls before visiting the
It
complex?
has its own power station.
Well, a public relations firm assured me that people
We
will
hope you
love it.
find your guided tour of
It will
Complex
heighten the
B
feeling of
interesting and
anticipation.
instructive. Please remain together at all times. Thank you for your attention.
Ah, here we are. Level B7. The most interesting level in the complex. Where shall we start?
Well, we're in your hands, Mr. Exon.
This is the control room of the climatorium. Come in. Come in.
The what?
Yes, an ugly name. I didn't coin it, but it does convey an idea of the laboratory's purpose. Take a seat.
Oh, thank you.
The climatorium itself is beyond that glass screen. You'll see it when the sun is switched on. It's 90 meters in diameter and about the same height at the center of the dome. Now, are you ready?
It's getting light.
Listen.
We are going back in time. We are hurtling backwards in time at a rate of 200 million years per second, until we come to the period in the history of our planet when the atmosphere contained no free oxygen.
Is that the real sun out there?
But there had always been light from the sun. The first recognizable life was algae floating on the oceans, intercepting the sunlight and using solar energy to convert carbon dioxide to sugar and releasing oxygen into the atmosphere. It was algae and plants which gave us the life-giving oxygen in our atmosphere. a process which took 2,500 million years, and which go on sustaining the atmosphere today as we breathe oxygen and consume it in our factories and our motor cars. One car requires 5 acres of forest to replace the oxygen it burns every 20,000 miles.
Well?
It's fantastic. But is that the real sun?
No. It's a cluster of high-pressure xenon lights radiating 1 kilowatt of energy over every square metre of the climatorium's floor. They're suspended from a gantry which can be moved to simulate the passage of the sun across the sky. We can vary the output to simulate any region on Earth, but we are primarily concerned with the tropics for the controlled conditions we need to test new fertilizers and soil conditioners. Oh, the soil in the climatorium has the same profile as that found in certain regions of Ethiopia. Watch carefully.
There are people out there. Who are they?
We have now come forward in time to 5 million years ago. We are in North Africa, where the first true men are believed to have appeared.
Yes, actually, it's dangerous making statements about the origins of man because, well, every so often someone makes a discovery that adds another 1,000,000 years to the time he's been on this planet.
Dad, who are those people?
And now we move our weather clock forwards to the present day. Little has changed. The people are a little taller, and they live a little longer. Some even survive into their early 40s, and they are still starving and wretched. But instead of a handful of people, now there are many millions. People like Joey. We don't know his real name. Come nearer, Joey. Nearer. Notice his limbs, like matchsticks, aren't they?
But this is awful.
You almost feel you can reach out and break them.
What's that poor kid doing in there? Dad!
Notice his distended
Why
face.
is he in there? Why? Why?
The flies are crawling all over his face, but he no longer cares.
No.
All he cares about is his next meal.
Dad?
It might come today, or tomorrow, or next week.
Look.
Or never.
Look, Dad!
Come nearer, Joey.
No!
Denise, it's all
Come
right.
No, it's not all right.
Yes.
How old do you think Joey is? 4, 5, 6? Joey is 11 years old. He is one child out of 10 million. And we have sentenced him to death.
Dad, please, open this door. Dad, you can't leave him. You cannot. Please open the door.
Denise!
I didn't mean it, Daddy. I didn't mean to kill him. Oh, please believe me, Daddy. He was hungry. He was so hungry. I didn't know he'd die.
It's all right, love. It's all right. He's gone. There's nothing there. They've all gone. Look, you see? Nothing. Nothing. So, what was it that we saw?
A hologram. A three-dimensional image recorded on holographic film and projected by laser beams. The boy died last year. We made the recording in Somalia.
What did she mean? I didn't mean to kill him.
I thought she'd forgotten.
I'm all right now, Howard.
Oh, I'm taking you home.
No, I'd like to see everything now we're here.
Well, perhaps we should call it a day.
I'm sorry I made a fool of myself, but I'd like to see the rest. So, what's the purpose of that place?
It recreates any environment that we wish. Let me show you.
Oh, we can go in there?
Of course. It's perfectly safe. There are no mosquitoes. Oh, perhaps there should be.
I think I ought to take Denise home.
I'd like to see it.
Yes. I thought perhaps you would. Now, sun goggles are on your left in the airlock. Put them on, please.
Right.
Now, are we in?
Okay.
Excellent. Yes, it takes the pumps a few seconds to balance the pressure. Oh, a word of warning. Even though you're wearing goggles, don't look up at the xenon lights. They're burning with the same intensity as a tropical sun.
Right.
Now, brace yourselves. The heat can hit you like a sledgehammer.
Oh, wow.
Welcome to North Africa.
Oh, it's incredible. I can even feel a slight breeze.
Yes, convection currents set up by the xenon lights, which is exactly what winds are. We weren't expecting real climatic effects in here, but we've got them. I've left the program set so that you'll get a taste of some real weather in a few minutes.
Hey, is that maize growing over there?
Yes, that's right. Come and see.
They're fantastic, Dad.
Looks like they're growing in sand.
They are. Those sachets at the base of each plant are Elka's much vaunted grow bombs. Sunlight degrades the covering, layer by layer, so that the exact amount of water and nutrients required by the plant are released at a controlled rate throughout its growing season. They eliminate expensive irrigation systems, in which large quantities of water are lost in hot countries through evaporation.
Yes. Now, I remember reading the firm's press handout on them. They're going to revolutionise farming, aren't they?
They'll eliminate ploughing and harrowing. There'll be no more pollution of rivers and streams through excessive fertilizers leaching through the soil. And if they ever are used for growing in sand, there won't be a weed problem.
Well, they sound like the solution to the world's food problem.
Yes. I believe they could be.
What are these, Dad? They look like the remains of some plants. What happened to them?
Oh, we've had our failures. Well, we'd better be going now. This heat's bad for you if you're not used to it.
What was that?
Homemade lightning. Several kilovolts jumping between two electrodes on the gantry.
How long is the spark?
About 30 feet. Quite spectacular, isn't it? That's how we increase the ozone concentration in the atmosphere. Now, we ought to be going now.
There. Denise, ready?
Ooh, steak, wine and candles.
It's an anniversary now. Eat and don't ask questions.
Does it look good? What anniversary, kind sir?
We've been together now for 365 nights.
362.
What?
I threw you out on 3 successive nights last December, do you remember?
Yes, I never did pay you back. But if you'd like to propose to me, I'll give it careful consideration.
Only one thing missing from the table, flowers.
Oh.
Where's my potted plant?
I moved it into the bedroom. It was a nuisance in the kitchen, seeds all over the floor. And as it's my month for housework, I ought to be allowed to make decisions on the location of things that make cleaning up difficult. It's behind the bedroom curtain on the bay windowsill.
Funny how those plants grow so quickly, isn't it?
Ooh, it is good. I should have invited your father round, shown him how well I'm looking after you.
What, celebrating our year of living together? I can just see him enjoying that.
It's odd the way he's opened Complex B to the public. And yet they've still got all the surveillance equipment working at night.
He says it's to safeguard the records and computer files on level 3.
Odd, though. Still, that hologram of the starving kid was more effective than any film.
Don't let's talk about it, Howard.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did Dad mention anything to you?
No.
Then why are you saying sorry?
I didn't mean to bring the subject up. I figured you'd get around to telling me sometime. I just didn't want to push you.
I tend to forget how kind you are.
Ooh, you won't find another.
Oh, Dad was wrong. I hadn't forgotten that little boy. I must have been about 7 or 8. Dad was on his second tour with the United Nations Agricultural Advisory Team in Chad. It was Boxing Day. I remember feeling how wrong it seemed to be spending Christmas in such heat. I was playing with my presents and I suddenly realised I was being watched. He had huge eyes, just like that little boy in the climatorium. His stomach was blown up like a balloon. He could hardly stand. I heard him crying that night. I overheard someone say he was hungry. I didn't know they were giving him a liquid diet to start with. I smuggled him a big slice of Christmas cake. They found him dead next morning.
Did your father guess?
Well, I think he must have done. If only they'd told me that food like that would kill him. Oh, I'm sorry, Howard. This is delicious, but I just can't manage anymore.
Coffee?
Please.
Oh, that's odd. The cream's gone off. Smell.
Ugh. Where'd you get it?
At our supermarket. Well, We're not going there anymore. That's the second lot that's done that.
Oh, let's have it black. Good Lord, don't you need a special licence to smoke something that size?
Special occasion. The biggest cigar in the shop. I'll go and get your funny plant. We can sit and contemplate it and marvel at your green fingers. All right?
Don't drop cigar ash on the stair carpet.
Oh, my God!
Evening, nurse.
Good morning, Mr. Balfour. It's dawn.
Too whacked to notice, love. So what's the verdict?
Shock, mostly. Minor burns to his face and hands. He'll be okay tomorrow. Have you found out what's causing these fires?
We're working on it. Is she still here?
Over there. She's been sitting there all night, poor thing.
Ah, thanks. See if you can rustle us up some coffee.
Well, do you know where the vending machine is?
Goody. Morning, Miss Exon. Didn't expect to find you still here.
My father's on his way back to pick me up.
I've heard that Howard will be okay.
Yes.
I've just come from your flat. It's a mess.
I suppose you want a statement or something.
Can wait. What happened?
We just finished dinner. Howard went up to the bedroom to get something when I heard him cry out. I rushed up, found him lying in the passageway outside the bedroom door. The entire bedroom was burning. I dragged him clear.
You saved his life.
I tried to smother the flames with my dress. They'd go out but start again as soon as I took my dress away. It was like a nightmare.
You had nothing in that bedroom that was out of the ordinary.
No, nothing.
It's beginning to look like we've got a maniac on the loose who sit on a new type of incendiary device. Does your father live alone?
Yes, but he's offered to put Howard and me up. Why?
Drives a Jensen.
Yes, why?
No, do it when it's easy.
Oh, excuse me. No, what's the plan?
A 999 call from Tower Mills Old People's Home. A major fire.
Look at that. Skill. I managed that boiled egg without your help. I think I'll be okay driving. Maybe I'd better go into the office before they discover they can manage without me.
You need another day's rest.
What's the latest on the Old People's Home?
15. Oh, I wish Dad didn't virtually live in Complex B. I was hoping to see more of him now that we've moved in on him. Oh. Wonder who that could be at this time. Oh, hello, Mr. Barton. Come in. How's in here? Come through.
How are you getting on, Mr. Rogers?
Fine, fine. I'm getting plenty of tender, loving care. Have you caught our arsonist yet?
Oh, we've set up an incident room.
Oh, well, that's it then. He might as well give himself up.
We're looking for something in common between all four fires on the assumption that whoever planted the devices used the same materials each time. This is a list of items that we managed to identify at the scene of each fire.
Oh.
I'd like you to look at it and tell me if there's anything here that shouldn't be there.
Picture hooks.
No, well, there were 2 pictures in our bedroom.
Hairbrushes. Can you really identify hairbrushes after a fire? Portable radio. Yeah.
Hand mirror, yes.
Flower pot. We had a flower pot in the bedroom. You mean those delinquent girls at the community centre also went in for potted plants?
Oh, one of the girls had found a wild plant she was fond of.
Alarm clock, yes. Oh, that's it.
Oh, well. It was worth a try. Is your father still at Elko, Miss Exon?
Yes. He didn't come home last night. Why?
Well, I tried to call him there, but there was no answer. Never mind. I'll see myself out. Good to see you looking fine, Mr. Rogers.
Oh, thank you.
Be seeing you.
What are you looking for?
C-D-E... Flinders. Max Flinders. Ever heard of him? He's an old friend of Dad's. He used to lecture at Surrey University, microbiology.
So?
Do you feel like a drive into the country? Good. We are going out to those woods near the airport. We're going to dig up one of those weird plants and we're going to take it down to Max Flinders and ask him to examine it.
Oh, why?
Because somehow, in a way I can't even guess at, those plants have got something to do with the fires. And Dad knows they have, and the police suspect that Dad knows something.
How'd you get onto him in the first place?
From complaints, Commander.
All right, Sir Exon likes to go on the prowl at night, but it's not enough, is it?
Enough to have him in for a chat. Finch got a look in the boot of his Jensen last night. A spade, a trowel, a horticultural flame gun, weed killer.
Yeah, that's not evidence to associate him with these fires. With his job, he can easily explain why such things are in his possession.
And now he's taken to daytime prowling with a pair of 1250 binoculars.
What does he show an interest in?
No, anything. The countryside, mostly. He likes to find himself a high spot and go over every square inch. Woods, fields, hedges, gardens.
Extraordinary behaviour.
15 people died in that fire, sir.
Yes, I don't have to be reminded, Balfour. All right, keep him under observation for another 72 hours. You can pull him in if he continues with his prowling.
There wasn't much point in trekking down here with that plant the other day. He's got a couple growing in his front garden, up near that conifer.
They probably are a common weed and we've wasted his time.
He said it was urgent, didn't he?
Oh, good morning, Mr. Flinders.
Denise, Howard, come in, come in. I've just made a pot of coffee. Now, through here, that's it. Out you go, Suki. Oops. Now, mind the pile of books, will you? Let's go into my den.
I don't think I've ever seen so many books outside a library.
Yes, I do believe they're breeding. The cats certainly are. Oh, make sure there isn't one under you before you sit down, will you? Shoot those papers on the floor, Howard. That's it. Oh, boy.
I only hope that we haven't wasted your time over the plant, Mr. Flinders.
Max, only civil servants and gasmen are allowed to call me Mr. Flinders.
Only we noticed quite a lot of those plants as we drove down, and there's a couple more in your front garden.
Just round your way, all scattered.
Scattered?
I see. Well, at least it's an easy plant to spot.
So it is dangerous?
Well, not to put too fine a point on it, I'd say it's the most dangerous living organism on this planet. We're going to have to move fast.
And it did cause those fires?
3 more this morning. 6 people died, all in your area.
But how can a plant be responsible?
I've been keeping it near an open window. Yes. Here it is.
Phew, it's grown.
Oh, yes, it's grown all right. It does everything well. Well, I'm going to show you a classical experiment, similar to that carried out by Joseph Priestley 200 years ago. Now, I'll need that aquarium.
Oh.
Now, I place a burning candle in the aquarium, like so. Cover the aquarium up.
Well, the candle will go out, surely.
Yeah. It's dying.
It'll burn for a few seconds until the flame has consumed all the oxygen in the aquarium. You see, it's out. Now then, please, Denise, would you kindly lift that plant into the aquarium for me? That's fine. Slide it to one side. Will you make room for the candle?
Right.
Which I shall now light. Right. Now put the cover back in place, please.
Oh, well now. Now, what sort of candle's that?
It's an ordinary candle, and it will continue to get brighter.
I would never have believed it.
But it's lighting up the whole room.
I didn't believe it myself at first. Oh, it has about the intensity of a 300-watt light bulb. Now the candle's collapsing. Now watch what happens when I push a dead match under the cover. There.
But that's fantastic. Just burst into flames.
Quite a firework display when I sprinkle sawdust in there. That's enough. I'll slide the cover off and let the remains of the candle burn itself out.
So that's what killed all those people and nearly killed Howard?
Yes.
But how? Now, how could a plant do that?
You've heard of photosynthesis? Well, in simple terms, it's the process by which plant leaves produce their nutrients from solar energy. They also produce surplus oxygen, which is released into the atmosphere through the leaf. All plants do this, of course, but this strange plant does it faster, so fast, that it can enrich the oxygen content of the atmosphere in a closed room within a matter of minutes.
Yes, but oxygen isn't dangerous, is it? I thought life depended on it.
So does fire. Our atmosphere is only 1/5 oxygen. The rest is mostly nitrogen, just the right balance to make fire controllable. Now, our whole civilization is based on our control of fire. A slight increase in oxygen levels, and we lose that control. Everything that can burn will burn.
I'm sorry, Max, but I cannot believe that one plant in a room could cause our bedroom to be gutted like it was.
Why not? Look at this room. Full of combustible material. Books, papers, furniture, floorboards, window frames, all waiting to burst into flames, given the right conditions that plant can provide.
So where did it come from?
I think your father will be the best one to answer that question.
In The Destruction Factor by James Follett, the part of Max Flinders was played by T.P. McKenna, Denise Exon, Rosalind Adams, Howard Rogers, Paul Copley, Ralph Exon, Clifford Rose, Balfour, Peter Wickham, Nurse, Joan Matheson, Commander, Rod Beecham. The voice in the climatorium was Jennifer Piercy, and the production was by David Spencer. The Destruction Factor by James Follett, with T.P. McKenna, Paul Copley and Rosalind Adams. Episode 3, The Wings of Azrael.
Three more growing on the verge back there.
How are they managing to spread so quickly?
Well, that's one of the first things we're going to have to find out. It's a leguminous plant, by the way. Same family as peas, broad beans, runner beans, that sort of thing.
This is our road.
Far too near London Airport for my liking.
Oh, Dad must be back. Garage doors were open.
Well, that's odd. He's put the car away and left the engine running.
Denise, fetch your father, will you? Go on. Quickly, my dear.
Right.
See if the garage doors are unlocked, will you?
What? Yes, they are. What a stupid thing to do.
Don't go in. For God's sake, don't.
It's crazy. Stupid. You think he didn't notice he'd left the engine running?
Fumes. Look, the handbrake's not on. Pull on the bumper. That's it. Fine, good boy. That's it. If I turn the engine off.
Right. It's too late to call a doctor, I suppose.
Yes.
All right, Howard. I'm not some helpless female that needs dosing to the eyeballs with sedatives. You'll need my help with his papers.
OK then, sweetheart, if you're sure.
Here's something. Results of gamma radiation on batch 5, 20% germination rate.
I've seen these before. The architect's plans for Complex B. He shouldn't have had all these company documents at home.
All scientists are squirrels when it comes to papers. Here, show me. I say, is that the climatorium?
Yes.
Oh, I'd like to see that.
Oh, I don't think you'd be able to. Only the control room's open to the public.
Well, apart from being able to flaunt a Rolls Royce in front of one's colleagues, one of the great advantages of copying a Nobel Prize is that it opens doors. But it can wait. What I really want to see first is the bungalow where the first couple died.
Oh, yes, Edward Downes and his wife.
If you say so, my boy. I need a chauffeur.
Oh, I'll run you over there.
Denise is prettier than you. thank you, officer. We'll stay on the planks. That's some mess,
Our bedroom is in exactly the same state.
Bricks almost vitrified by the heat.
Why did you insist on me driving you here?
Because you can't drive and cry at the same time. Floorboards burnt right through. Just the joists left. Remarkable. Hello. Bird droppings everywhere.
There's a gaping hole up there. Max, listen.
Yes. I'm getting to know that sound. 7 of them. Thriving, too.
Is it safe in here?
Oh, yes. There's no danger with a hole like that in the roof. The oxygen these lads are giving off is diffused into the atmosphere immediately. No, the danger is in an unventilated room.
Have you seen enough?
Yes, I think so. I'll just take one of these plants along with me. And then I'd be grateful if you'd kindly take me to the General Hospital.
A visitor for you, Anne. And you mind your manners, young lady.
I ain't talking to no more fuzz.
A policeman? Well, well. That's something I've never been accused of before, Anne.
Or probation officers. Where'd you get that plant?
Yes. Odd-looking thing, isn't it?
It's all right.
Did you have one in your room when you and your 2 friends were burnt?
Look, I've told you all over and over, I don't know what caused that fire.
But you did have a plant like this in your room.
What if I did? No crime, is it?
Is smoking a crime at your age? I forget. Who smuggles them into you? Boyfriend, a porter? Well, never mind. Is that what you were about to do at the time of the fire? Smoke? You struck a match and boom? Yes?
Suppose so.
You see, the thing I can't understand is how the 3 of you managed to escape from that room with only a burnt skull.
Bad enough, wasn't it?
No. I didn't mean that. Other people who had the same thing happen to them were burned to death by their nightdress and pyjamas. You see? Well, thank you for seeing me, Anne. I must be off now.
I thought you bought me that plant.
I'll send you a nicer one. Promise.
That was quick.
Yes. Oh, by the way, Anne, why were you in the community centre?
Tried to burn down my school, didn't I?
Oh. Well, goodbye, Anne. And I'll send you that plant. You know, I'm puzzled by their injuries, nurse. Is that all the 3 girls had? Just scalp burn?
No, I said that all the hair on their bodies had been burned.
You mean they had other burns?
Do I have to spell it out?
No, I'm sorry, but Oh, I see what you mean.
They were naked at the time of the accident. They just had showers.
Naked? Naked, but of course. That's the one thing that had me baffled. That explains how those 3 girls are still alive. And it gives me a nicely rounded theory that our police and politicians will understand.
Seed tray 1, 0 germination.
What temperature did we start at?
10 degrees centigrade.
Well, that's only to be expected.
Seed tray 2 is the same.
15 degrees centigrade.
No seeds have germinated at 15 degrees.
Tray 3 is the same. Constant 20 degrees and germination is 0. 25 and 30 are the same.
The fastest growing plant the world has ever seen. And we can't persuade a few hundred of its seeds to germinate under ideal conditions. So why? Well, I suppose it's just possible there's a genetic fault, and the exon strain will die out.
Does that happen with mutations?
It happens all the time in nature. The whole process of evolution is based on survival of the fittest. For every successful organism that survives to reproduce, 1 million fail.
And Daddy's creation has failed?
Well, we don't know for certain. But it will be better for the world if it has.
Why? Doesn't the exon strain mean an abundance of food for the third world? That is what my father worked for all his life.
Don't think I don't understand how you feel, Denise, but the exon strain is a failure. It can't possibly benefit mankind. Your father realized that. He spent his last days desperately scouring the district for the plants and ruthlessly destroying them when he found them. Why do you think he did that? If it wasn't because he understood their menace?
Oh, come on. Max, come on, OK. So the Exxon strain is an undesirable houseplant. That doesn't make it a menace, just don't bring them indoors.
If the Exxon strain survives, which I doubt because most leguminous plants are killed by frost, we will have to destroy it before it destroys us, and by us I mean mankind. Look, our present atmosphere contains 20% oxygen. Now, plant life gives us that 20%. Given the right conditions, Ralph Exon discovered that it might be possible for his plant to double that percentage in 5 years, maybe less, if it gets established in places like Central South America. Now, have you any idea what effect a 40% oxygen atmosphere will have on civilization? I'll tell you. It will cease to exist. We'll have to have a world without fire, which means no industrial processes.
That's absurd. Max, mankind can adapt.
Certainly. Given a few million years, we'd be lucky if we got 20. But it's not just industry. All plant life will die. The oxygen will destroy it. The Exxon strain appears to be the only plant that is oxygen resistant. Metal structures will rust as fast as they're put up. Rusting is just another verb for oxidizing. Meat will start to rot almost as soon as it's killed. You've seen contains antioxidants, haven't you, printed on food packets?
Howard, didn't you have some cream go bad when we had that Exxon strain in the kitchen?
Yes. Oh, but surely plants can't...
I've only touched on the minor effects. Increased oxygen will make us hyperactive. We won't live so long.
Oh, now you are being absurd.
Have you ever looked at pictures of the Earth taken from space?
Yes.
You realize then just how delicate our atmosphere is, and only the bottom layer, a mere 3 miles thick, can support human life. It's as delicate and as vulnerable as the wall of a soap bubble. I've sent a report on the matter to the government's chief scientific advisor, Alfred Blawes, and a sample of the Exxon strain. I've suggested that the government offers generous rewards to anyone finding a plant. What with this zero germination rate we've discovered, the Exxon strain could be wiped out in a couple of weeks.
Tray 6.
Eh?
Tray 6, look at it.
What? 10 rows. 10 seeds to a row. That's what I call 100% germination.
I could spend all day and all night shooting holes in this theory of yours, Mr. Flinders.
Go ahead, but at least have the decency to put another one in its place, Mr. Blawes.
Item. The fire at Howard Rogers and Denise Exon's flat took place at night. No sunlight, therefore no photosynthesis, therefore no free oxygen released, therefore no fire as a result.
The plant had been in the bedroom all day. A sealed room with no fireplace and plenty of draft excluder around the windows.
Item. According to your findings, germination of the seeds doesn't take place until they've been exposed to temperatures above 40 degrees centigrade?
Correct.
Good. We agree on something. Now then, it's June. Air temperature outside is what? Comfortable 22, would you say?
Yes, about that.
And you say that these so-called Exxon strain plants are scattered over a wide area west of London.
And spreading all the time we are sitting here. Get to the point, sir.
The point is, Mr. Flinders, that we've not had one day so far this year in which the temperature has gone above 25 degrees. Even during a heat wave, temperatures above 40 are virtually unknown. So how can you possibly claim that your plants are still germinating and popping up all over the place?
Yes, that's an awkward one.
You agree that I've shot a little hole in your theory?
You haven't. It was there all the time, and it's not little.
You can explain it away?
All I can do is guess.
Then guess.
Somebody or bodies is germinating the seeds and scattering them.
Yes. That's our opinion, too.
Ah?
The opinion of my committee, Mr. Flinders.
What committee, Mr. Blawes?
The one that has been set up to investigate the phenomenon of the Exxon strain. Thank you for that name. We hadn't got one.
Set up when?
2 weeks ago. It meets once a week. Your report was discussed at the last one.
You mean that you've known about the Exxon strain all along?
Oh, of course. You don't get a strange mutation appearing without the government getting to know about it.
Then would you mind telling me why I've been subjected to 10 minutes of abusive grilling?
I'm sorry about that, but I was anxious to find out how much speculation there was in your report. A ruffled man is a talkative man. We would like you to join our committee, plus Howard Rogers and Denise Exon.
Typical. A major problem crops up and we form a committee. Oh. How often did you say it meets?
Once a week.
This matter's urgent. It should meet once a day.
Pressing, perhaps, not urgent. The seeds aren't germinating.
The Ministry of Agriculture carried out similar tests to yours and found that germination does not take place below 40 degrees centigrade.
I think they are germinating, and I think it is urgent. Yes. Have you carried out a plant census anywhere?
The police will catch whoever is scattering them.
Why do you want Howard Rogers and Denise Exon on the committee?
Because they know as much as you. In fact, all three of you are required to join.
So we can be gagged with the Official Secrets Act,
I would not have put it quite like that. As you three have identified the problem independently, we would hope that you will be willing to serve.
All right. But you can't sit on a thing like this. People are attracted to the plants. They're taking them home. There were 2 more fires last week.
Warning posters are being printed at the moment. There's a picture of the plant and a brief statement saying that it is poisonous. They'll be distributed to police stations, libraries, and government offices. After a couple of days of press comment, the whole thing will be forgotten.
I don't believe it. We have a mutation on our hands which terrified its creator, and we're talking about it as if it's a cold epidemic.
Look, I don't like to sound patronizing to someone of your reputation, but we could be in an election year. Governments like election years to be calm years.
Oh, politicians.
We'll probably have a new lot to cope with in the autumn, and the autumn frosts will kill off this wretched plant.
Frostless autumns and winters aren't unknown.
But unlikely. All the committee has to do is keep a close watch on the situation until then. You can carry on with your investigations into Exxon's work, but keep it unobtrusive. Incidentally, the board of directors of ELCO are being very cooperative. If you require access to Exxon's laboratories, I'm sure they'll be only too willing to...
Okay, we'll toe the line.
Perhaps you can answer one thing. Why do you suppose Exxon opened his Complex B laboratories to the public?
He thought it might ease the storm when it finally broke. He didn't have your confidence that it would be possible to keep quiet about the Exxon strain, and unlike the government, he was very, very frightened.
I feel like God.
Why?
All these controls at my fingertips. Wind, sun, humidity. Do you suppose your father felt the same?
Why should he have?
He created life out there in that desert. Climatarium, whatever they call it.
Dad didn't create life. He bombarded seeds with neutrons and gamma rays to produce a permanent chromosomal change and gene mutation. Max said Dad merely speeded up nature. Something like the Exxon strain could appear naturally next week or in the next 1,000,000 years.
Those plants provide new wonders every day. So they can turn their leaves so quickly towards a light source that they seem to rustle with anger when your shadow falls on them. What's the oxygen concentration?
35%. Now that's up 2% in the last hour since we increased the sunlight.
Yes, I thought it was. My breathing was different. So the pumps aren't coping.
No, it doesn't look like it.
Denise, would you pass your dad's notebook, please? Yes. Yes, here it is, January 12. Yes, he had 2,000 plants growing that day. Liquid feed at noon. By 4 o'clock, oxygen concentration was 40%. Pumps were not reducing the concentration, so I was obliged to vent the climatorium. What does he mean, vent the climatorium? Yeah, well, who are you calling?
Mike Harris, the chief engineer. Hello? Mike? Denise Exon. We're in the climatorium control room. We've got an oxygen build-up. No, it's not dangerous.
Vent?
We're wondering how to vent the climatorium.
The oxygen build-up must have been...
4 switches above the humidifier control panel. Yeah, I can see them.
Rising.
What do they do? You tried to pull my leg. Okay. Thanks, Mike. We'll try them.
Well?
Do you want it vented now?
Well, yes.
What do the switches do?
First switch equalises pressure. Second and third switches release the latches. And the fourth switch, would you believe, opens the roof.
Now I've seen everything.
That's what I call clever. The entire dome opening like the petals of a giant flower.
This is absolutely marvellous. We really must persuade the government to finance the construction of a climatorium. I mean, to be able to create virtually any climatic condition in the world on such a huge scale. Come on, let's go and see what the plants think of it. Amazing. Truly a remarkable piece of engineering.
Why are the plants making such a row, Max?
Well, this is how Exxon achieved a rapid drop in temperature to simulate conditions in the desert when the sun goes down. Opening the dome allows its giant bubble of warm air to escape. And after that, the refrigeration equipment can cope easily.
Or in this case, a giant bubble of oxygen. Noisy, aren't they?
Well, they're confused. See, now that the roof's open, the light is coming from all directions.
It's incredible the way those pods burst and scatter seeds everywhere. Oh, do you want us to save them?
Seeds? No. We've got plenty.
Have you found out why they need such high germination temperatures, Max?
Well, now, that is still the great mystery. Blowers has at least established a census area. It was used market garden near Weybridge. There were 3 plants to the hectare last week. Now the figure's up to 5. It's going on the agenda for next week's meeting and oh, damn.
Why, the land was so cheap. This complex is right under one of London Airport's flight paths.
I can't stand those things. The jet engine is third on my list of retrograde creations of the 20th century. Nuclear weapons are second, and this plant is right on top.
Why?
Oh, I'm sorry, Denise. We can control nuclear weapons and jets, but we can't control the Exxon strain.
But we can learn.
We've been waging war on weeds for 10,000 years. We haven't beaten them yet, and we never will.
Well, you've never called the Exxon strain a weed before.
A weed is any unwelcome or noxious plant. A definition that fits the Exxon strain admirably.
Listen.
What?
What is it? Why is it going dark? Birds! Look! Millions of birds!
Let's start walking very slowly towards the control room airlock. But don't run. Whatever you do, don't run. Just look at them. Killing each other over those seeds. Good heavens. Denise, is it possible to close the roof slowly?
Yes. There's a variable speed control above the switch.
Then close it as slowly as you can. I don't want any of those birds to escape. Morning, Blas.
Good morning, Mr. Flinders.
So this is your control area. Very impressive.
A derelict market garden with a topsoil varying from clay to light loam.
Sounds ideal. What's the latest count?
20 to the hectare.
5 last month? That's quite a jump. And from what I saw from the train on the way down, it seems general throughout the country.
The police are carrying out discreet checks on all flying clubs in the south. There's a possibility that some maniac is scattering the seeds from the air.
Yes, and I've got some interesting data for you, enough for you to call an urgent extraordinary meeting of the committee. Have you thought of the consequences of the seeds reaching tropical regions, where they can germinate without artificial heat? One seed can become a mature plant in 4 weeks and produce 2,000 seeds. With a 50% germination rate, that gives us 1 million plants in 2 months, 1,000 million in 3 months from one seed.
No one is denying that there is a problem, Mr. Flinders.
Bring every member of the committee to Complex B tomorrow at 3, and I will show you the true scale of the problem.
Now, wait a minute, Flinders. You can't expect me to call an extraordinary meeting on your say-so.
3 o'clock tomorrow, Blas. The Climatorium in Elco's Complex B. I'll warn the main gate to expect your party.
I'll be there, alone.
Oxygen concentration is now up to 40%. It's climbing fast. We're going to have to open the roof within the next 5 minutes, Max.
You've been busy, Mr. Flinders. How many plants are in the climatorium?
At 10 to the square metre, about 17,000.
Quite a spectacle. A lot of work germinating that many seeds.
They're germinated by natural means, and they're flourishing. We maintain sunlight at a level to simulate the Earth's temperate regions.
Concentration's 41.2. It's going up fast.
You mean that all these plants have propagated themselves?
We've provided sunlight and water. That's all. Frightening, isn't it?
But how?
Well, that's what we're about to show you. Hello, Denise. How are things on the roof?
Fine. I feel like a tourist in Trafalgar Square. The whole of the admin roof is swarming with birds fighting over the seeds. They're even snatching them out of my hand. They love them.
I don't know how she can do that. 42%.
Thank you, Denise. Stand by. Now, when the climatorium roof opens, Blores, you will see something that will haunt you for the rest of your life. You'll be invaded by thousands of birds. Video recorders on, Howard.
Rolling. Oxygen concentration's 42%.
Equalizing pressure now.
43%. The meters are creeping into the red zone.
Releasing latches.
Hold it, Max. Don't open the roof yet.
What?
A jumbo jet has just taken off and it's heading this way. Well, it might frighten the birds off, so don't open the roof yet.
Tell her we've got to. Oxygen concentration's 44%.
Denise!
Yes?
I'm sorry, we've got to open. The oxygen concentration is reaching a dangerous level.
Max, listen, you mustn't open the roof. The birds, they're rising up in a great cloud in the jumbo's path. Close the roof, for God's sake, close it! How many people were aboard?
253.
It was my fault. My fault. I should have realized that releasing thousands of birds...
It wasn't the birds. The flap was nowhere near the aircraft when it...
Oh, Denise, I'm going to take her home. Come on, love, it's all right. Come on. Come on.
So it was the oxygen.
Yes. A huge bubble of it, rising into the air, too large to disperse quickly enough. Sucked into the aircraft's jet engines and...
They blew up. Why did you mount such a crazy experiment? Why?
To show you how the Exxon strain is spreading throughout the country. The birds eat the seed whole. Perhaps it has a smell that attracts them, I don't know, but they can't digest them. Their body heat cracks the seed's skin, and they pass out of the bird's body ready to germinate in a nice dose of fertilizer to help them get started.
Well, now we know how the plants are spreading. Maybe we can do something about it.
Can we? Isn't there something you've forgotten? The birds start their main winter migration soon. They'll carry the seeds with them, spreading them throughout the world. Like everything else, we've probably left it too late. Only this time we don't get a second chance.
In The Destruction Factor by James Follett, the part of Max Flinders was played by T.P. McKenna. Howard Rogers, Paul Copley, Denise Exon, Rosalind Adams. Nurse, Joan Matheson. Anne, Christine Absalom. Blowers, Michael Shannon. The production was by David Spencer. The Destruction Factor by James Follett, with T.P. McKenna, Paul Copley and Rosalind Adams. Episode 4, Bird Strike.
Roger, Heathrow Tower. This is Trans A501 cleared for takeoff. Contact Shanwick 120.6, squawk 2400. Clearance received, Skipper.
OK, Mike. PA call, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is First Officer Shan speaking. We're sorry about the delay, but we are now cleared for takeoff. Will the cabin crew please take their seats?
Body gear steering.
"50 knots. Speed building.
I have rudder steering.
80 knots. V1. Rotate. Positive rate of climb established.
Gear up.
Gear up selected.
Landing lamps.
Landing lamps up and off.
Flaps in, check fully up and in.
Check fully up and in.
Altimeter set 1013.2 millibars.
Set 1013.2 millibars.
Set 1013.2 millibars.
Hey, see that bird swarm below?
Some flock. Too late.
That's odd, Skipper. I'm getting...
Fire action number 4 engine. No, correction. All lights on. Fire action on all engines.
None of you have a shred of evidence to support your claim that it was the Exon-strain plants in the climatorium that caused the jumbo to crash. That's why you're not being asked to give evidence to the inquiry.
But I saw the whole thing. I was on the admin roof at Elco when Max and Howard opened the climatorium dome immediately under the jet. Those birds were at least 100 yards away.
Do you want your father to be remembered as the creator of a plant that led to the deaths of 253 people in one of the worst air disasters this country has known?
If we do nothing, Mr. Blowers, it won't be 253 people on our consciences, but 250 million in the first year, another 250 million in the second, and after that, the rest of mankind.
An opinion, Miss Exon.
You've sat in on the committee meetings, Blowers. You know damn well what the dangers are.
Unproven, Mr. Flinders.
That jet hit a giant pocket of almost pure oxygen that rose out of the climatorium when we opened the dome.
All 4 engines seemed to blow up in midair. Birds couldn't have caused that.
Experts think it's possible. Rapid overheating of the combustion chambers. Your attention was drawn to the jet after the explosion when the damage had been done. Besides, the wreckage of the engine fan discs were choked with the remains of birds.
Because the jet came down through the bird swarm after the explosion.
Save your breath, Denise. He doesn't want to believe you. It could be an election year. The government wants peace and tranquility on the face of the land. We can always publish our own version of the crash.
I wouldn't advise it.
Oh, why not?
Don't forget that both of you and Howard Rogers are serving on a government committee that is looking into the whole problem of the Exon-strain plants. It has discussed evidence relating to the plants provided by government scientists working in government laboratories and has met in government offices.
Rubbish. We provided 90% of the evidence from my findings.
Perhaps, but you might find that hard to prove in court.
What exactly are you threatening us with, Mr. Blowers?
I'm merely asking you to consider the consequences of, to use the legal jargon, communicating information to persons unauthorized to receive it, Mr. Flinders. You'd better have this. It's a copy of the recording made by Tango Alpha's flight deck voice recorder, and this is a transcript of the same recording so that you'll know who is speaking. Now listen carefully, and you'll hear the captain and the co-pilot refer to the bird swarm a few seconds before the tape goes blank. I mustn't take up any more of your time. Think about what I said. Mr. Rogers.
How do you do?
Hello, Howard. How did it go?
Well, what's upset our little civil servant friend? I've had an interesting time. Now, I talked to several Transatlantic Airways engineers. They wouldn't commit themselves, but I got the distinct impression that the below-decks opinion is that it would have to be a 1 in 10 billion chance for birds to knock a 747 off the sky. They took me up on a flight in their simulator. It's fascinating. The whole flight deck actually tips up on takeoff. Why the odd expression?
It was a bird strike. Blowers left us a recording. Tango Alpha's flight deck crew saw the bird swarm just before the crash.
That's the cassette. We haven't played it yet.
Isn't that good news, Denise?
Those birds were nowhere near the aircraft.
Have you got a tape recorder?
Left-hand drawer of my desk.
Blowers threatened us with legal action if we said anything about the possibility of Daddy's plants causing the crash.
Well, he can't.
He can and will.
Right, standard left-hand seat, graduated power takeoff, Mike. Okay, skipper. Hold the control column slightly forward of neutral and call me. Speed building, 80 knots, B1, rotate, and positive rate of
According to the transcript here, that's Diamond, the captain, speaking.
Gear up on my command.
The other voice is, what is it, Shand? Yes, Shand is the co-pilot.
The aircraft to a standstill on the brakes. Give me spoilers and full reverse without...
It sounds like the pre-takeoff briefing.
Understood.
Wind on a bit.
We're sorry about the delay, but we are now cleared for takeoff. Will the cabin crew please take their seats?
Body gear steering.
God.
Knots.
So creepy.
Speed building. I have rudder steering. 80 knots. B1. Rotate.
Let's take off.
Positive rate of climb established. Gear up. Gear up selected. Landing lamps. Landing lamps up and off. Flaps in, check for the up and in. Check for the up and in. Altimeter set 1013.2 millibars. Set 1013.2 millibars. Set 1013.2 millibars. Hey, see that bird swarm below? Something's right. Too late that, Sergeant Skipper. I'm getting fire action on the temperature. No, correction. All lights on. Fire action on all engines.
So, it was a bird strike.
Something doesn't make sense. Who was it who mentioned the bird swarm?
Oh, that was Diamond, the captain. Let me see. Yes, here we are. Hey, see the bird swarm below.
Yeah, well, he didn't sound very worried, did he? No. I mean, if the bird swarm was likely to endanger the jet, don't you think he'd sound much more concerned? Let's play that bit again.
13.2 millibars. Set 1013.2 millibars. Hey, see that bird swarm below?
You see, he's merely passing a comment. He knew that there was no danger from the birds.
Hey, see that bird swarm below? Something's right.
Howard's right. He doesn't sound a bit worried, does he?
No, of course he wasn't. The flight deck of a 747 is perched on top of the first-class section. Downward visibility, especially when climbing, isn't marvellous. And yet the captain and the co-pilot both saw the bird swarm shortly after takeoff, which must mean that the birds were a long way off.
Now, I've given scientific evidence to many courts and inquiries as an expert witness. And mind you, unless you're on 100% safe ground, a skilled counsel can tie you up in knots with your own facts and figures.
Hang on, I've got a layout of the labs and surrounding area here somewhere. Now look, the entire Earlco layout, the admin block, my office where we are now, and here, 100 yards away, Complex B and the climatorium. And the climatorium is less than 2 miles from the end of the runway they were using that day. They're bound to at least listen to us at the inquiry now.
Two things. First, we won't be invited to give evidence. And second, the flight engineer saw something as well. Now, look, here. His name was Wayne, you see. That's odd, Skipper. I'm getting blank, and then he was interrupted by the fire alarm.
Point taken.
See that?
Show me. That's old Skipper I'm getting. It sounds as if he was looking at his flight panel or whatever it is flight engineers have to look at.
No, he wouldn't be looking at it. Not during takeoff. He'd turn his seat away from the panel and sit facing forward behind the co-pilot, wearing a safety harness. Flight deck crews are given full harness, unlike passengers whom the airlines consider safe with a single lap strap.
What's the matter?
Let me try something. Oh, damn that.
Millibar, 1013.2 millibars. Said 1013.2 millibars.
Now this is it, listen.
What?
Now what did those noises sound like to you?
Well, a sort of metallic noise, a clicking, followed by an electric drill.
Yes, the clicking noise was the crew releasing their harness buckles. And that electric drill sound was something I heard in the simulator. The flight engineer has a motor-driven seat that moves on rails in front of his panel. You see, they release their harnesses, push them out of the way. Now, listen again.
Millibars.
Listen. And the flight engineer swivels his seat round to his panel and runs the seat along the rails. Now, Denise was right. He was looking at his panel immediately before the explosion and not paying any attention to the bird swarm. He's the one with the engine's performance instruments. And he saw something odd about his readings when the bird swarm was still a long way off.
Of course. If the aircraft hit the oxygen bubble, the first thing that would most likely happen is that the engine temperature gauges would shoot off the scale.
And that tape is our proof.
Very nice piece of deductive reasoning, dear boy.
And where does it get us if they won't listen?
We tell Blores. And if he won't listen, we call a press conference in the climatorium and blow this whole business of the Exxon strain wide open. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is an unusual place, isn't it? Rather like the interior of a planetarium, only larger. It's called a climatorium. Now, in here, it's possible to recreate the weather conditions of anywhere in the world. It can simulate the climatic conditions that existed on this planet before man appeared. Or it can create the ice age that will be upon us within the next 10,000 years. Sunlight is provided by the cluster of high-pressure xenon lights you see hanging from the gantry at the top of the dome. Now, we told the computer that we were entertaining the press, and it agreed to provide us with a warm spring day in the Azores. Oh, Denise, would you like to start at the beginning, please?
Yes, of course. My father was a man haunted by a nightmare and obsessed by a dream. The nightmare was the memory from his days with the United Nations of starving men, women and children in the poor countries of the world. And his dream was to see those deprived people fed. Upon his return to this country, he became technical director of ELCO and secured funds to build this laboratory complex, Complex B. Last year, he started work on a new project that was such a closely guarded secret that not even I knew what he was doing. He subjected seeds to radiation and succeeded in producing a plant mutation, a new form of plant life that grows so quickly that it can produce a huge protein-rich crop of seeds from one seed in 4 weeks. The Exxon strain, the new miracle food, except that it wasn't. If there are plants in hell, they'll probably be like the plants that my poor father created.
Yes, but what has this got to do with the crash of Tango Alpha?
Please, gentlemen. Sorry, someone asked, what has this to do with the jumbo crash? Very well. 2 weeks ago, at the time of the crash, we had 17,000 Exxon strain plants growing in here. The oxygen buildup became dangerous. So the dome was opened, which resulted in a huge invisible cloud of oxygen rising into the still air, right in Tango Alpha's path. Well, ladies and gentlemen, oxygen and kerosene make an extremely explosive mixture. But Tango Alpha is only the beginning. If the Exxon strain is allowed to spread, it can double the oxygen of the Earth's atmosphere in a few years.
How serious would that be?
We'll gradually become hyperactive. We won't live so long. Our crops will fail because oxygen is a deadly poison to all plant life. The whole fabric of our civilization will literally crumble as steel structures rust away to dust. What meat there is will rot as soon as it's killed. And that's only the beginning. The survivors will have to learn to live in a world without fire. But the chances are that natural fires will finish them off anyway. The forest will be destroyed by lightning and will never grow again. You see, Ralph Exon realized that his plants would be the only living things on Earth at the end of the century.
Is that why he killed himself?
We don't know. But I do know that Daddy wasn't a coward. He created the Exon strain, and we know that he was desperately looking for a way of destroying it.
Can it be destroyed?
Yes, if you people can persuade the government to take immediate action, but it has to be immediate. Birds adore Exon-strained seeds. They can sense them from miles away. They swallow them whole, and their body heat cracks the seed, which enables them to germinate rapidly once they've passed out of the bird's body. Now, we've removed the seed pods from the Exon strains growing in here. But the plants still have a strong smell, which is what we suspect attracts the birds. Now, just a moment. Can we have the roof open, please? You see? The entire dome hinges open like the petals of a giant flower. Listen carefully. Birds. They sense the presence of the seeds. In 2 months, the main bird migration will start. We have 2 months to destroy every Exon-strained plant in the country to prevent it spreading throughout the world.
Well?
One paragraph on the back page.
Oh, no.
Oh, as it's my week for cooking, I'll stop at a takeaway. That's odd.
This story doesn't even mention our names.
Which means the editor's been got at. Which also means that the story will get the same treatment in tomorrow morning.
What does 4 large men in 1 small car mean to you?
Police. I wondered if you noticed them.
Oh, I noticed them when we left Earlco, and they stopped when I stopped outside the newsagents.
Do our police use foreign cars?
When it suits them.
Right. That is it.
Denise, what are you planning to do to those men?
I'm not having them sitting on our tail making snide remarks about my driving.
She's waving them down and they're stopping.
Crazy girl.
Headstrong.
Well, I suppose 4 of them can look after themselves. But why should the law be interested in us?
Probably because I ignored this document. Take a look.
When was it served?
Before the press conference.
Oh, hell. Well?
Police.
It figures.
They want to arrest us. Quite polite, really. The older one has a sense of humour. Protective custody, he called it. We get the custody, they get the protection.
What are they waiting for?
Well, for me to get the car home, of course. They don't want the bother of being responsible for it.
Oh. I like that.
Max had this served on him this morning.
Huh?
It's an injunction forbidding us to go ahead with the press conference.
Yes, as I'm the one named on the injunction, however. You two have nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry. Have you any idea what they can do to us if they prove that we passed classified information to the press?
Mr. Blowers, Prime Minister?
OK, Edkin, toss him in. A disaster, Blowers.
I did my best, Prime Minister.
And your best is having them held by the police for 3 days.
You said that it was essential that you had Exon's papers and that you didn't care what methods were used to get them.
Legal methods, Blowers. I didn't say anything about breaking the law.
You didn't say anything about not breaking the law.
Damn it, I shouldn't have to. Technically, those papers belong to Earlco. Exon was their technical director and a company employee.
If Earlco wanted those papers, their name would have had to have gone on the court order. You wanted their name kept out of this at all costs.
How much longer do you think we can sit on the story? A week? 2 weeks? How much longer can we rely on editors to cooperate when they're on the phone day and night demanding to be allowed to go ahead?
I suggest we keep the campaign against the plant at its present level.
Posters outside police stations telling people not to take them home? No, we're going to have to do a lot more than that. If that plant is as big a menace as that scientist... Flinders says it is. Now, I've got a plan, which I want you to implement, but it's vital that you do everything in your power to keep Earlco's name clean and to avoid a lot of speculation into the reasons for Exon's suicide.
That depends on how much power I have, Prime Minister.
It'll be considerable, Blowers. Quite considerable.
Someone's been in here.
Don't be daft.
Someone broke in here while we were in police custody. I sensed it as soon as I entered the room.
What's the matter?
Oh, Denise thinks we've had burly burglars rampaging through the house.
She's probably right. All the papers in your father's desk have gone, Denise.
Ah, no, it's all right. I locked them in the filing cabinet last week.
We've had a cursory look at them, Denise, but they won't help solve the problem of how to deal with the Exon strain. I mean, your father never got that far.
No, I'll see who that is.
I'm going to go through them document by document until I find out why he didn't get very far and why he was driven to suicide.
Come through here.
Will you help me, Max, please?
Of course I will, my dear.
Alfred Blowers, the Prime Minister's personal scientific advisor. He's come to offer a grovelling apology for the 3 days we've spent manacled to a dungeon wall.
I'm sorry I wasn't at the police station when you were released. They looked after you?
Oh, his crusts of stale bread were poked through the bars each morning without fail.
Shut up, Howard.
You'll be pleased to hear that the charges against you are being dropped.
Oh, we guessed that an hour ago when the fuzz turned us out.
At 3 p.m, the Prime Minister will be declaring a state of emergency to deal with the Exon strain, and the press will be authorised to go ahead with the story on the illegal press conference you held.
There was nothing illegal
Hold
about...
on a minute, Howard. So the government's finally woken up to the dangers.
It was aware of them all the time. It just didn't want to be stampeded into premature action.
So what action is it going to take now?
That's up to you, Mr. Flinders. Your name has been suggested as the one to head the campaign to wipe out the Exon strain.
Good Lord.
As you were the one beating a big drum over the Exon strain, you were the obvious choice.
Right. We'll start with the requisitioning of Earlco's Complex B laboratories.
That won't be possible. This doesn't involve Earlco, and there are plenty of government-owned laboratories...
What the hell do you mean? Of course it involves Earlco. And if we're to beat the Exon strain, we're going to need that climatorium. It's the only one in the world. All research must be concentrated in that complex, okay?
Okay. I'll arrange for a team of plant specialists to be moved in. It might be an idea if all Exon's papers were handed over for them to look at.
What papers?
I understand that he did a lot of his work in this house.
Oh, we used to do some work here late at night.
Then it's likely that there could be valuable findings.
You're absolutely right, Blawes. Looking through those papers will be my first priority.
You'll be much too busy, Mr. Flinders.
And you'll be too busy to stop me, Mr. Blawes. You see about requisitioning Complex B, and I'll be in touch in an hour to see about drafting those emergency regulations. Blawes was right. I'm going to be far too busy to go through all these papers.
And we don't know what we're looking for.
A clue as to why Dad... Oh, any clue, any paper that doesn't make sense.
Here's an interesting carbon. A memo from your father, Sir Miles Stratton.
Chairman of Earlco.
Yes. It is vital that you reverse the decision taken by the directors.
What decision?
Doesn't say, but it's dated a few days before he killed himself. We're going to have to put these papers in chronological order for the... Hello. There's an envelope from Earlco head office. Memo from Sir Miles Stratton to Ralph Exon dated the day before Exon committed suicide. This must be the last of your father's papers. Dear Exon, I'm sorry, but the decision by the Board of Directors taken at their last meeting regarding Project D10 is to be implemented immediately. I wonder what he was talking about. What decision?
I think I found it. Item 6 on the agenda. It was unanimously decided that Project D10 be abandoned forthwith. Action by Accounts Department. No more payments to be made to cover research costs for D10. Action by Mr. R. Exon. All papers, notes, specimens relating to D10 to be destroyed. All specialised laboratory equipment developed for D10 to be broken up and sold. All correspondence relating to D10 to be destroyed. Action by personnel. All research staff working on D10 that cannot be transferred to other projects to be made redundant.
So that's why he killed himself. The funds he desperately needed to find a solution to the plant he had unwittingly unleashed on the world had been withdrawn.
Hello? Yes, he's here. It's Blowers for you. He's calling from the climatorium.
Yes, I'll take it. Yes, Blawes? Are you sure?
Well, we never studied the videotapes that carefully. We'll be right over.
No, the picture's too blurred. I can't make out any of them. Hold it. Starling or blackbird?
They're resident birds.
Not necessarily, old boy.
Haven't we got a better videotape than this one?
Hang on. Let me see. Recorded from camera 4 with close-up lens. Yes, this one's probably better.
Well, let's have it then. Aye.
Ah, yes, much better. Hold it! There, top of the picture.
A house martin?
No, the house martin hasn't got such a pronounced forked tail and swept-back wings. Can you play the tape slowly so that we don't lose it?
Mm-hmm.
Hirundo rustica, the swallow. Stay in the picture. Definitely a swallow. It's gone. Run the tape at normal speed.
We didn't see if it was actually eating those seeds. Maybe it joined in to see what all the fuss was about.
No, it's eating them all right. It's back in shot.
But the swallow is an insect feeder.
Look, old boy. I'm only an amateur, but I'm pretty certain that those ornithologists will back me up tomorrow. It's true that the migrant birds are mostly insect feeders, but birds are great opportunists. They'll eat anything going. And it's known that the migrant birds switch from insects to seeds towards the end of the summer to build up their body fats for the long flight south.
Well, Blois, it looks as if you and I had better sit down and draw up that list of emergency regulations for the Prime Minister.
In The Destruction Factor by James Follett, the part of Max Flinders was played by T.P. McKenna. Howard Rogers, Paul Copley, Denise Exon, Rosalind Adams. Blowers, Michael Shannon. Craig, Noel Johnson. First Officer Shand, Gregory de Paulnay. Flight Engineer Wayne, Roy Spencer. Captain Diamond, Rod Beecham. The production was by David Spencer. The Destruction Factor by James Follett, with T.P. McKenna, Paul Copley, and Rosalind Adams. Episode 5, Search and Destroy.
Number 5's going to cause a stir in legal circles. I'm not sure that my colleagues will agree to the concept of a minimum fine, Flinders. Certainly not one of this magnitude.
Mr. Flinders thought it essential, sir. I tried
So do I, which means that I'll have to be extra persuasive. OK, I'm making a TV broadcast immediately after the Cabinet meeting. I dare say the media will be screaming for a spokesman after my broadcast, so you'd better stay in London for the rest of the evening, Flinders.
Good evening. At midnight tonight, the government is introducing the toughest legislation this country has ever known to combat the gravest danger it has ever faced. Well, these were the words spoken by the Prime Minister in his unprecedented broadcast to the nation just before this programme. Unprecedented because Mr. Craig went on to say that the present campaign against the Exxon strain has been too timid, that it had been a case of doing too little, nearly too late.
Stand by camera 3.
Now, with me in the studio is Max Flinders, the scientist in charge of the new organisation that
Q3.
has been set up to deal with the Exxon strain. Mr. Flinders, how would you answer those who say that these emergency measures are too harsh?
The 10,000 minimum fine for the unlawful cultivation of the Exxon strain?
Yes. For the benefit of those who missed the Prime Minister's broadcast, the new regulations give unlimited powers to the police and the army to destroy Exxon strain plants wherever they're found, and for massive minimum fines for those caught growing the plant.
Well, the fine won't affect more than a handful of irresponsible people. The positive side of the new regulations is that the government will be paying a £2 reward for every one of these plants taken to a police station.
Yes, indeed. But do you not feel that the concept of automatic minimum fines is contrary to...
This plant is contrary to life on this planet. It's the government's belief that £2 per plant is sufficient incentive for people to go out, search for Exxon-strain plants, and take them to their nearest police station, where they will be paid immediately.
Starting tomorrow?
Starting at midnight tonight and continuing for 3 weeks until midnight on the last day of July.
So the plant is safe to touch?
Perfectly safe.
How many plants are there growing wild in the country?
That's a tough one. It could be as little as 10 million, or as many as 100 million.
So stamping them out is going to be an expensive business?
The cost is the least of our worries. The one thing we haven't got is time.
How long have we got?
5 weeks at the outside.
And if we fail?
We mustn't.
But there's always the remote possibility,
if we
is there not?
fail to eradicate this plant, it won't be a disaster for just this country or even the countries of the European community. It will be a planetary catastrophe that not even the combined resources of all the member countries of the United Nations will be able to combat. Thanks for coming to collect me, Denise.
I saw the broadcast in the reception.
You think I went over the top?
No, Max. I finished going through Dad's papers.
Oh. Anything?
The Earlco Board of Directors knew nothing about the danger from the plant when they pulled the rug from under him. Which makes me all the more determined to find out why they did it to him. It drove him to suicide.
Funny thing, but before tonight's broadcast, I was warned that I'd be faded out. I brought up the subject of your father's suicide. They said as the inquest hadn't been held yet, there was a danger of the matter being sub judice.
That's odd.
That's exactly what I thought. Someone in a position of influence is exerting pressure. You know, it might be worth you scratching around to see if you can uncover a link between Earlco and senior members of the government.
Dad hated working for Earlco.
That I can understand. Did he ever tell you why?
No.
Any developments while I've been away?
The plant research team have moved into Complex B. A huge radio mast's gone up on the admin roof, and they've turned the car park into a heliport.
Sounds like friend Blores has been busy. You better take me straight there.
You need a good night's sleep, Max.
I don't trust that hatchet man. I will sleep better when I've seen what he's been up to.
And over there is Section 10, who will be processing information from all police stations on where plants are found and quantities they're found in.
Very good, Blores. Why was the Earlco sign taken off the roof?
Section 11, helicopter communications. Section 12, police liaison, in case there's trouble the police can't handle. With the plants worth £2 each, there could be dust-ups between landowners and search parties.
You've done a first-class job, but why was the Earlco sign taken down?
We requisitioned the place on your instructions. It's no longer under Earlco control.
You mean Earlco didn't want their name to be picked up day after day by a permanent squad of TV cameras? Who asked you to take it down?
It was my idea. I put Howard Rogers in charge of the climatorium, as he knows how it works.
And he agreed?
Oh, yes. He's working in there now on an idea of his for a machine to detect the plants from the air.
Okay, now switch on. We'll try it at low amplification first. Right, now swing the mic array slowly.
Yep.
That's it.
It works.
Now, let's not open the champagne just yet. Now move the mics to one side.
Looks hopeful, though.
What's all this, then? Someone giving you an oscilloscope to play with?
Hello, Max. It's not an oscilloscope. It's the world's first Exxon strain detector. And it works.
We think.
What?
Well, it's an adaptive parametric amplifier, sir. Used for the detection of submarines at extreme long range.
Piece of sonar equipment?
Yes, sir. Well, I fitted it with this mic array, a cluster of digital gun microphones that can be slung beneath the helicopter. The amplifier has a discriminator facility that can be programmed to respond only to sound patterns that match a pre-recorded tape. All other sounds are ignored.
And it works.
Well, it seems to work on that group of Exon strain growing over there.
Come on, show me.
It might help if we increase the sunlight to stimulate them into faster growth.
No. Leave it at this level. All right.
Right, you see those random dots on the screen? Now, all the operator has to do is tune them into a straight line, like so. And then you read off which microphone you're getting the response from. Now, mic 6, and as you can see, mic 6 is pointing straight at those exons.
This is incredible. Will the noise of a helicopter have an adverse effect on the detector's sensitivity?
I don't know, but I doubt it. I mean, the microphones are only interested in sounds originating from where they're pointing.
I read about these super-sensitive sound detectors. I thought a few of them might be ideal for screening inaccessible parts of the country.
Rubbish.
Eh?
If this thing works, I shall need 500 models to screen the entire country.
Well, this is the only one in existence. Friend Blower's requisitioned it from the Navy.
If we can make one, we can make 500. How long have you been without sleep?
Oh, about 15 hours, I suppose.
Can you manage another 2? There's a Sea King helicopter in the car park. It's been placed at my disposal. Get this thing installed temporarily, then get some sleep. We'll go out first light to test it.
Microphone 2, bearing 083 degrees, our heading. Inclination 30.
Looks like that's spinning on the inside of the stream's bend. We're getting a positive reading from those woods. Can you set down in that field near the trees?
Yes, sir. But I'll keep her running in case the ground's soft.
We're going to reconnoiter those woods. 10 minutes.
Very good, sir.
It's probably a whole colony. I don't think the detector is sensitive enough to detect individual plants.
Individual plants are going to be our biggest problem once the first phase of cleaning the country is complete.
It looks pretty dense in there. Shall we look for a path?
No, we'll go straight in. You're not frightened of a few nettles, are you? Listen. Come on!
Oh, damn tree roots everywhere.
This slope must lead down to the stream.
Would there be enough light in there for them?
Plenty. Hold it!
What?
On your left. That clearing.
Oh, hell. If that's typical of the country, then we're too late. How many do you reckon? Couple of thousand?
I wouldn't even like to guess. Let's take a closer look. Down!
Some idiot thinks we're rabbits or something. Hey! You nearly killed us!
I'll make sure next time if you don't get off my land. I'll give you 5 seconds to get moving.
What?
1.
Listen, you idiot! I'm a government scientist investigating the
trespassing after those plants.
Oh,
They're mine.
It's your duty to take them to your nearest police station, you hear me?
That's what I'll be doing as soon as my men arrive. Us and no one else. So clear off.
Gee, come on. Come on, let's do as he says.
I'm not letting
Come
some
on.
lunatic.
Come on. Oh.
Each pin represents 1,000 plants handed in.
So my estimates were way out.
Certainly looks like it.
They were intelligent guesses rather than estimates, and not so intelligent, it seems. I had no idea that the wretched thing would become so widespread in such a short time. Damn birds.
Sir!
What is it, Corporal?
Sorry to trouble you, sir. A report from Section 12. There's a major incident developing on Wimbledon Common.
It looks more like a race riot!
Yes, that's exactly what it's turned into.
Helicopter Red 6 reports that the police are in trouble near the lake, sir. 6 constables are in trouble.
Lord?
We'll have to let the army move in.
Captain, give your helicopters the go-ahead.
Right, sir.
4 CS bombs each.
Hello, Red Force, ready. 4 CS bombs on main crowd.
Howard! That helicopter's in trouble! Oh.
Seven police officers, an army helicopter pilot, and 27 civilians. 35 people killed in the worst civil disturbance in this country in years.
Prime Minister, no one would have been killed if that young thug hadn't fired a shotgun at the helicopter.
Yes. As many as that. Okay, I'll tell them. Surprise, surprise. Your operations room have just phoned through the final figures for the number of plants handed in today. 8 million. What have you got to say to that, Mr. Flinders?
It's far too early to draw conclusions.
Let's see how this phase goes before we close down schools, offices, and factories. Supposing we succeed in destroying every plant in the country, what about the seeds that we miss, and the birds miss? Won't they germinate next spring and start the trouble all over again?
No, Prime Minister. We've discovered that the seeds decay rapidly if they don't germinate within 3 weeks. The Exxon strain is a leguminous plant, the same order as peas and beans, the first frost or near frost, and it's dead. By next spring, the Exxon strain will be extinct.
Unless migrating birds carry the seeds south.
That's why I've sent samples of the Exxon strain to every country in the world. The World Health Organization and the United Nations, so that they can identify the plant and carry out research.
You've done what? Who gave you the right to do that?
You did. You said I was to wipe out
Did you know about this, Blowers?
No, sir. It's the first I've heard about it.
There was no danger, gentlemen. They were sent in sealed containers.
I don't give a damn what they were sent in. By doing that, you've as good as told the world that we don't have a solution to the Exxon strain.
I'm not trying to take power away from you, Prime Minister. You'll find that the Exxon strain will do that very nicely without help from me, if you try to keep this a domestic issue. If you want my resignation, you can have it. If you don't, and I'm not given a free hand, you'll have it anyway.
Yes, I have your P24s for you.
Day 2, 6.1 million. Day 4, 4.6 million. And 3.2 million plants handed in so far today. The trend is definitely downwards.
Doesn't mean a thing, Denise. I expected the figures to dive to almost zero on day 2.
Oh, you're getting too pessimistic in your old age, Max. The helicopters fitted with Exxon detectors are proving to be a huge success, and 30 more going to service tomorrow.
How are things going with the new ultra-sensitive detector?
Oh, Howard went off this morning in a helicopter to test the prototype in mountainous regions.
Still nothing from the climatorium?
They're saying they might be able to come up with a selective weed killer in 6 years, not 6 days.
Yes, I can understand how they feel.
Oh, excuse me, miss.
Oh, yes, Corporal.
A report from Section 11, miss. A Lynx chopper that should have refueled at Bath an hour ago hasn't showed up or radioed its situation.
Well, should that concern me?
Well, the helicopter is Charlie 7, miss. Captain Dyer said that I was to tell you.
Charlie 7?
That's right, miss. The one Mr. Howard Rogers is aboard.
Nothing. Nothing but rocks, crags, and valleys.
Well, with 10 other helicopters out searching, we're bound to find them before dark.
How long have we got?
Another hour, we'll find them, don't worry. Helicopters don't often crash. Their rotors prevent them dropping too quickly. They windmill down like a sycamore seed.
Everything looks so deserted down there. You'd think there'd be hundreds of people out looking for the plants.
This area was pretty well combed by hikers on day 1.
2 o'clock, near the woodland.
Yeah. It looks like a lynx, or the remains of one. Charlie 8 to Delta 9 have sighted Charlie 7 in search square 018. Going down to investigate.
Howard! Howard!
Well, here's the pilot. Don't let her see him. Cover him up.
What have you found? It's Howard. You found Howard?
No. Denise, it's not Howard. I swear it's not Howard.
Then where the
hell is he?
We'll find him when the relief helicopter arrives.
No.
It's no good trying to comb rough country like this by ourselves. Denise, come back.
If you can't be bothered to look for him, then I will.
He could be anywhere.
What do you reckon happened?
Rotors are smashed. Pilot probably tried to fly too low and clipped a tree. Easily done.
I found something, Max. It looks like a trail of blood.
Howard!
Howard!
Howard! We'll have to separate. Pick up the trail again. You check that clearing while I circle round. Give a shout if you find anything.
It's okay. Max! Quickly!
What's the matter?
I don't believe it. Look.
Oh, hell.
It can't be one, Max. It's too big. They don't grow to that size.
Well, this one has.
Max, it's impossible.
It's real, all right. Another one over there, and another one. I'd say this clearing and the plants is what Howard spotted from the helicopter.
Shh. Howard! 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 He's here. Max!
What?
Max! Howard! Howard! It's Denise. Can you hear me, darling? Max, look at the colour of his face.
Looks like he's lost a good deal of blood.
Darling.
No. Don't try to move him.
He will be all right, won't he, Max?
Here's the relief helicopter. There'll be a doctor and stretcher on board. We'll be able to fly him straight to hospital.
Then there was this terrific bang, and the helicopter suddenly seemed to shake itself to pieces before it crashed. We weren't much more than 30 feet up. There was a pain in my leg. Crawled out of the wreckage. The first thing I saw was the pilot. Could see there was nothing I could do for him. So I thought I'd try and find the clearing.
You'd seen it from the air?
Thought the plants were a trick. You've seen them?
20 of them.
The tallest one was over 8 feet high.
8 feet? So what are they?
We don't know yet. We'll have to see if the seeds replicate their parents. But it looks as if the Exxon strain has produced its first hybrid. In other words, we might have a super Exxon on our hands.
We're not interested in understanding it. Your job is to destroy it. Project the daily figures forward and we'll still be uprooting those damned plants by the million at the end of October when the birds have left. And now you tell me you've discovered a colony of giant Exxons growing happily in Wales. Aren't you ever the bearer of good news?
Well, we're having a fine summer, which is likely to delay the main migration.
And if it turns foul, which isn't exactly unknown, the damn birds will hop it early?
Yes.
Thanks for the good news.
I'm trying to be honest with you, Prime Minister. We don't have the answer, but I'm 100% sure that we will. The problem is not whether or not we can produce a selective herbicide. It's whether it can be produced quickly enough in sufficient quantities to spray the entire country by mid-September at the very latest. Now, I suggest you set up an operational research team to look at the logistic problems, the number of helicopters that will be needed and so on. Because you might discover that you'll have to swallow your national pride and go cap in hand to the United Nations.
Back to the climatorium, Denise.
Don't you think you ought to have a night's sleep, Max?
Politicians. Bah! Do you know the first thing he said to me? He waded straight in, saying he had grave doubts about my ability to solve the problem.
Ah, he made himself objectionable.
He didn't make himself objectionable. He is objectionable.
I don't think so, Max. Blower's warned me about Craig's technique. When he wants something done by someone, he deliberately makes himself unpleasant by suggesting it can't be done. Then that someone tries to prove him wrong by doing it. Something else I found out.
Right.
Craig is an old friend of Ulco's chairman, Sir Miles Stratton.
Oh, Denise, I'm sorry, but I'm not
interested at the moment, really.
No, but Earlco makes substantial yearly cash gifts to Craig's party. No secret. It's in their annual accounts. £500,000.
£500,000? Wow.
Every June. Except this year. For some reason, Earlco have withheld payments.
Well. I see. Now, that is interesting.
Something for you to sleep on. I'm taking you home.
The climatorium, young lady. I want to see how the seeds of those Welsh plants are doing.
Here they are, row 35.
But they're still the same height as the other Exxon, and not more than a couple of feet high.
Which means that those plants from Wales are freaks, hybrids whose seeds produce ordinary Exxon. The super Exxon doesn't exist.
Now, why should a clearing in some woodland in Wales produce such giant plants? At first light tomorrow morning, I want you to send as many helicopters and men as you can to that clearing. Bring back 4 tons of topsoil and 4 tons of subsoil, but don't mix them. Now, there's some space over here. Spread the subsoil out and put the topsoil on top, just as it is in the clearing.
I can't spare helicopters for that. What about using trucks?
The place is inaccessible and lines will be too slow.
You wouldn't like the turf as well.
Good thinking, Blores. Yes, we'll have the turf shipped into the climatorium as well. It goes on top of the topsoil. Green side up, remember?
May I ask why you want to import chunks of the Welsh countryside?
What? And have you thinking I'm mad? He looks disgustingly well.
Well, no. Disgusting, yes.
Of course I'm well. Back home in civilised surroundings. A de-starched nurse seeing to my every whim.
Packeting?
Well, almost every whim. You look pleased with yourself?
Yes, well, at last I feel I might be about to achieve something.
Yes, that's how I felt first thing this morning, but she wouldn't play ball.
I won't be a minute. Make sure he eats his breakfast, Max.
All right. Why don't you two get married?
Why plan for a future when there might not be one? Oh, I can't eat this stuff.
I don't suppose you can remember much about that clearing.
Not really. All I can remember is falling into rhododendron bushes. My leg was hurting so much I could hardly see where I was going. Why?
Did you say rhododendron bushes?
It's our beloved Alfred Blowers with an odd message for you, Max. He says your little piece of Wales is ready, and what shall he do with it?
Tell him to plant a couple of dozen Exxon strain in it. Now, think carefully, Howard. Are you certain it was a rhododendron you fell in?
It's something that I felt was far too important to come to you through the bag. That's why I returned to London on the first available Concorde.
It's about those plants that Max Flinders sent to every member country. Oh, don't look so surprised. I guessed the bisquarks sooner or later. So what's being hatched in New York?
There's a small investigating committee reporting direct to the Secretary-General. They know how fast the Exxon strain can spread, the density it can reach, and the likely effect on the Earth's atmosphere.
Who told you about this committee?
The Secretary-General.
And we're not represented?
No.
And what did you say?
I told him that we're on the verge of producing an insecticide that will wipe out the Exxon strain.
Good.
Are we?
No.
Well, he gave me this report on a series of tests carried out on atmospheric samples taken from this country. It says there is strong evidence pointing to a significant increase in the atmosphere's oxygen level and a decrease in the nitrogen level.
Yeah, page 10.
Yes, I think so.
A significant increase. This report is talking in terms of several decimal places of 1%. I don't call that significant.
They do.
Go back to New York and tell them that we're dealing with the situation in our own way.
It's not as simple as their Prime Minister.
It's extremely simple, Mr. Sachs.
They're concerned for the entire world. They say that the Exxon strain is a threat to mankind's existence.
The United Nations doesn't have a monopoly on concern.
Well, they're giving us 30 days to eradicate the Exxon strain by our methods. Otherwise, they say that they will be forced with great reluctance to use theirs.
What methods?
It's a scheme that will involve the air forces of all the major powers operating under a single UN command. They're sending an observer, a Miss Anderson.
What methods?
They'll use a concentrated total herbicide to aerial spray every square inch of the country.
They'll what?
They'll defoliate the entire country so that there won't be a single tree or blade of grass left by the time they're finished.
In The Destruction Factor by James Follett. The part of Max Flinders was played by T.P. McKenna. Howard Rogers, Paul Copley, Denise Exon, Rosalind Adams. Craig, Noel Johnson. Blowers, Michael Shannon. Television presenter, Henry Knowles. Producer's assistant, Mary Elliott Nelson. Climatorium technician, Rod Beecham. Helicopter pilot, Peter Wickham. Farmer, Roy Spencer. Corporal, Gregory de Paulnay. And sax, Dennis Gosher. The production was by David Spencer. The Destruction Factor by James Follett, with T.P. McKenna, Paul Copley and Rosalind Adams. Episode 6, World Without Fire.
But Max, they can't be ordinary Exxon strain. They're well over 6 feet high. They're just like the ones I found in the clearing.
Tell him, Alfred. They've been grown from ordinary Exxon seeds. The difference is that they're growing in soil that was taken from the clearing in Wales, where you found the giants.
So the soil's unique?
Different. For one thing, it's very acid, with a pH level of 4. That's why rhododendrons were flourishing. They like acid soils. The other thing is that the soil is extremely rich in one particular trace element, copper. And that's the one trace element that the Exxon strain likes.
Acid soils make more copper available to plants than they would be able to get with the neutral soil that all farmers aim for.
You see, we've been looking at the problem the wrong way round. These giants are normal Exxon strain plants, and the 2-foot-high average height plants that grow throughout the country are poor, stunted things.
Normal? These?
Take a look at these Exxons over here.
Oh, they're dying, aren't they?
Better than that, they're dead. We made up an ordinary soil for them, but we left out copper. We've done what I said we would do. We found the Exxon strain's Achilles heel. All we need now is Paris's arrow. I'm sorry, Prime Minister. I'm not being rude to Miss Anderson, but I'm astounded that the UN should even consider such a barbaric plan.
I agree, Flinders.
Please, gentlemen, we agree it's barbaric, but what alternative is there? None. Defoliation of this country is the only guaranteed method of being absolutely certain of destroying the Exxon strain. No, it's a terrible thing to have to do, but there's no choice. The operation starts on the 1st of September and will be followed by massive food aid. Already ships are being prepared.
But we have informed the Secretary-General that Mr. Flinders and his team have discovered a way in which the plant can be destroyed.
Yes, this herbicide you sent us samples of. You say it was developed last year by Earl Coe and is still experimental, yes?
It's not a herbicide in the strict sense of the word.
Oh.
It's a sequestering agent. That is, it isolates excessive trace elements in the soil. It was originally developed by Earl Coe for use in those parts of the world which have excessive trace elements in their soil.
Yes, I understand, Mr. Flinders. An excess of trace elements can lead to poor crop yields just as a deficiency can.
The point is that we can treat the entire country with sequestron and so eliminate the Exxon strain completely. The winter will finish off the odd Exxon that is missed, and the only crops we lose are those that depend on copper.
Nothing compared with the appalling ecological damage that defoliation will do to the country, Miss Anderson. Now, we're about to switch every chemical plant in the country over to sequestron production.
It can't be done, Mr. Prime Minister. We have reports from every major chemical concern in Europe and the USA. They all say it'll take at least 2 weeks to build the necessary processing plant. We have gone into the figures most carefully, I promise you. Also, MIT do not think that winter will destroy the Exxon strain.
Well, of course it will. Good Lord, woman. The Exxon strain is a leguminous vegetable.
Have you tried growing them under icy conditions?
But no, we haven't. It's not necessary.
Perhaps it would be a good idea. I will see that the MIT report is sent to you immediately, but
now I have a plane to catch. You do understand, of course, that everything will be done to give your country unstinting assistance during the coming winter.
Atkin, Miss Anderson is leaving now. See that she has a car to take her to the airport.
Thank you, Mr. Craig. I would like to wish you good luck.
This way, please, Miss Anderson.
Yeah. Wasn't defoliation tried by the Americans in Vietnam?
A lunatic exercise that failed miserably. Destroying the top growth of the jungle to do away with cover for the Viet Cong merely allowed sunlight to reach the jungle floor, where it stimulated lush undergrowth that gave the Viet Cong more cover than they had before. Now there's so much ground cover that the trees can't re-establish themselves. The birds and wildlife that depended on the trees have been driven away, and the parasites the birds fed on have multiplied. The ecological balance of vast tracts of Vietnam has been destroyed for good, and it will destroy this country for good just as effectively as if we'd been plastered with thermonuclear weapons. Can you even begin to imagine what the countryside will look like with nothing green growing? Absolutely nothing.
I've tried.
And consider the after effects. If we have a wet autumn and winter, our topsoil, which has taken God knows how many million years to form, will be washed away. If we have a dry autumn and winter, the country will be turned into a giant dust bowl. Either way, we lose.
How much sequestrant have we got?
Just about enough to deal with the damn things if we knew exactly where they were. But nothing like enough to spray the entire country in 28 days. Now, if we could come up with a positive method of locating the plants, we might have a chance. But now, there's another problem on the way.
What's that?
MIT, saying that the Exxon strain will survive the winter.
Yes, I'd forgotten that.
Odd, isn't it? Frost in midsummer.
Hey, I think you're right, Max. These Exxon strain look okay.
Yes, I wouldn't have believed it possible.
What?
Do you know why frost kills tender plants? As the water in them freezes, it expands and ruptures the plant's cell structure.
Maybe they are dead, Max. It hasn't been below freezing in here for long.
I know when these things are dead. Is there any difference between them and those weeds?
Well, only that the weeds have frost on them and the Exxon strain haven't.
Exactly. MIT were right.
About what?
Something that we should have discovered but didn't because, like the idiots we are, we weren't looking for it. We didn't even bother to carry out a simple experiment by exposing the plants to low temperatures.
But, Max, they must die. The entire destruction factor has been based on the assumption that they wouldn't survive the winter.
That's right, an assumption. But no amount of frost can harm the Exxon strain.
Did my father know that?
I don't think so. Whatever the reasons were for Elko stopping his research, I doubt if it had anything to do with those amazing plants possessing futile cycling.
Possessing what?
Oh, for years biologists were baffled by the activity of the bumblebee in cold weather, would you believe it? Unlike other insects, you see, the cold didn't make them lethargic. They flew about happily in winter, ignoring all the rules. Oh, yes, there's a lot of truth in the old saying about busy bees.
But what's this got to do with these plants being able to withstand frost?
It was discovered that bees had the curious ability to convert glucose into another chemical, and then back to glucose. It was called a futile cycle. But nothing in nature is ever futile. There was a product of futile cycling. Energy in the form of heat. The bumblebee is busy all year simply because it is warm all year.
And the Exxon strain has this futile cycling?
Yes.
It will survive the winter.
Yes, except it won't get the chance. Look, what I have to say to you cannot be divulged to anyone. In 20 days, a United Nations task force will mount a massive aerial assault on this country. They'll spray every square inch with a particularly vicious butyric acid herbicide, the object being the total annihilation of all plant life, the length and breadth of the country.
You'll find the entire operation profile in this manual, Prime Minister. And this envelope contains the map appendices. The first wave, that's the first UN airborne group, will consist of 200 B-52 strategic bombers.
The good old B-52.
Which will cover Western England and Wales on a north-heading sweep commencing at 0600 hours on the 1st of September. There will be an interval of 2 hours, and then the second airborne group, a wave of 200 Antonov 22s, will sweep southwards. Well, as you can see, there's a slight overlap of the area covered by the previous group.
To make sure that nothing is missed, Miss Anderson.
Yes.
And how long will this go on for?
6 days. The zones have been carefully worked out so that the evacuation program can be carried out with the minimum inconvenience.
Who has the authority to call the whole thing off? The Secretary-General?
Yes.
Then we should arrange a hotline between his office and this.
Agreed. But I must warn you, Prime Minister, that he can only call off the operation if you can come up with an alternative method of dealing with the Exxon strain by the 1st of September. We're terribly sorry that this should have to happen.
I suppose we can't blame the United Nations. What's one country when the entire planet is threatened?
When will you make the announcements?
I'm having a meeting with my colleagues in half an hour.
Don't you even have a vague plan for destroying this plant?
Miss Anderson, the only scheme that exists is yours. We have nothing.
Max can swim well. I wish you wouldn't trickle hot sand on my tummy, Howard.
I feel guilty.
About what?
Lying in the sun doing nothing.
What is there to do?
Denise, I ought to go and see my father. Well, at least before Wednesday when the announcements are made.
All right, we'll drive up on Tuesday.
You don't understand. I ought to go up and stay with him. Permanently. He's always wanted me to do.
Well, what would be the point? You know next to nothing about market gardening. And there won't be a market garden to
He's
run.
got 6 large glass houses that he's given up running. Now I could help him repair them. Get the boilers working so that he'll still be able to earn a living. It'll kill him if he loses everything.
I see.
I can't leave him alone. The market garden's been his whole life. 50 years he's worked that 10 acres. If it's destroyed, he'll do something stupid. It will be on my conscience for the rest of my life.
And you can't ask me to share a Swede-bashing life in the wilds.
Well, of course not.
Why not?
I'm sorry?
Why can't you ask me?
Well, because... You mean you'd come with me?
You'd be an absolute menace trying to repair greenhouses on your Todd.
You come?
Yes.
Oh. Hey, a market garden's all wellies and water butts.
So?
Would you also consider going the whole hog, missy?
Is that a proposal?
Yes.
What a delightful way of putting it.
Well, it's hard being romantic to a girl who's got a dead crab on her stomach.
I haven't.
You have now.
Howard, you swine!
Hello!
Get it off.
A lover's tiff! Well, I'll go back in the sea if you like.
It's all right, Max.
It's not all right. I proposed to her, and that's the thanks I get.
Oh, after a thump like that, I wouldn't have thought there was much point in getting married. Anyway, congratulations.
Hey, sandwiches, anybody?
Oh, how lovely.
Oh,
thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. Well, I don't mean to sound sentimental, but I suppose it gives me confidence. You two planning for the future?
All I'm planning is revenge.
15 days to go. All over the world. Aircraft are being made ready.
How many?
About 5,000. Most of them being massed in the Soviet Union, I expect.
Don't we know?
The UN are keeping it a secret.
I thought we'd know from surveillance, satellites. Isn't it possible to learn everything from satellites these days?
Well, just about. Yes, especially during these exceptionally clear weather conditions. Good God!
Oh, what's the matter?
Yeah, get packed up. We've got to get back to London.
What do you think, Blowers?
It's a crazy notion.
Will it work?
I honestly don't know, Prime Minister.
Yeah. Well, it's a straw. A miserably frail straw, but it's the only one we've got. What is this EROS 10 exactly?
EROS stands for European Resources Observation Satellite. It was launched from Kenya last year.
But we have control of it.
The tracking centre is at Slough. It's under the direction of Sir Sinclair Scott.
Excellent. I shall draft an order to Scott telling him he's now working for Flinders.
With respect, Prime Minister, all scientists hate all other scientists, and Flinders and Scott are particularly prickly characters. Do you not think it better if I were in charge in case they fight?
Two responsible men aware of the crisis? Nonsense.
I never heard such a stupid idea.
Why?
Because it won't work. It can't work, that's why. Using a satellite to locate individual plants.
But you're using EROS on behalf of Brussels to locate illegal crops being grown within the EEC.
Not yet. The politicians are confining us to providing an early warning system on crop discoloration that indicates the onset of disease.
Now look, Scott. EROS is nothing more than a highly sophisticated orbital multispectral scanner, right?
Yes, but it can't
be...
be...
And it can identify, even at its present height, crops in fields no bigger than quarter of a hectare.
Precisely, but it is its height which makes it useless for what you want. It's in a near circular polar orbit with a 20,000-mile perigee.
Oh, hell, that I didn't know.
And it has an orbital period of 20 hours, which means that during the next 14 days, we will only get 2 sweeps over this country.
But EROS has a set of vernier rockets.
Yes, they are for performing fine maneuvers. Why?
How much fuel have they?
Well, I don't have that sort of information at my fingertips.
You have the command keyboard at your fingertips, Scott. What's the code for a fuel situation interrogation?
Oh, all right, all right. 10 litres. Enough to maintain Eoros's parking orbit for 200 years.
And enough to bring it down to a new parking orbit?
Yes, but any such major manoeuvre is completely out of the question because there won't be enough fuel left to return it to its correct orbit. I'm sorry.
Well, Blawes has been doing some investigating for me, Scott. Now, he believes that at a height of only 400 miles, the multispectral scanner on EROS is capable of detecting and accurately locating individual exon strains.
You've been talking to my staff behind my back.
Blawes' methods are his affair, but it's true, isn't it?
Possibly, but bringing EROS down to 400 miles is something that we cannot possibly do in any circumstances.
Why not?
I'm not prepared to discuss it with you.
You've seen this letter from the Prime Minister.
It makes no difference.
Okay, let's discuss it with him.
Spare me the technical details. Is it or is it not possible to bring EROS down to 400 miles?
Yes, indeed, sir. But
Very well, then, do it.
But we can't, sir.
I don't care if it does mean that the satellite's useless for future work. If we can show the UN's observer that we have a viable alternative scheme to locate and destroy every exon strain in the country within 10 days, then they will cancel the defoliation operation.
Bringing EROS down to 400 miles will mean that it will be so low it will be orbiting the Earth once every 88 minutes.
That's what Flinders told me. Fine. That's the height that will give the computers the resolution they need, and it means a dozen passes over the country instead of 2, correct?
We don't know for sure that the scheme will work, sir. And besides, an 88-minute orbit is at the critical height whereby drag from the Earth's atmosphere will cause rapid orbital decay. The satellite will re-enter the atmosphere...
And burn up. So what? It will have served its purpose. Satellites are expendable.
Prime Minister, EROS 10 is 4 tons of extremely compact hardware. It's unlikely that such a large satellite will burn up completely.
Okay, so there's a 1 in 10 million chance of a lump of debris causing damage. I'm ordering you to go ahead.
Then you don't know what EROS 10 uses for its power supply.
No, and I don't care.
It's a miniature SNAP-8 nuclear reactor that was purchased from the United States on the understanding that it would be used only in a satellite that was positioned in a safe parking orbit above 10,000 miles. If EROS 10 is brought down to 400 miles, it will break up on re-entry and release 110 kilos of enriched, highly radioactive uranium into the environment. EROS should be rising above the horizon in 30 seconds on her new orbit. The controllers have to concentrate. Can we have absolute quiet, please?
Naturally, there'll be an unholy row when it comes down. And we'll probably have to fork out a fortune in compensation and the cost of finding all the bits.
Yes, rather that than defoliation.
Exactly. The delay was getting our attractive UN observer over there to agree. Miss Anderson is the most powerful person in the country at the moment. She'll be the one who'll advise the Secretary-General to call off the defoliation operation.
Or tell him to go ahead.
Yes.
The maneuver to bring Eros down to 400 miles has been successfully completed. We'll start the scanners in 3 minutes.
Congratulations, gentlemen. The first hurdle is over.
So it seems.
How many orbits will you need to scan the entire country?
7.
And how does the system work, please?
Well, basically, the pictures are fed in digital form into the computer, which has been programmed to respond only to the spectrum. The light pattern, that is, of the Exxon strain. The computer will then oblige us by providing a neat printout that lists the exact position of every individual Exxon strain in the country.
Even those growing under trees?
Mr. Anderson, you see, when that line printer starts churning out its lists, you can be the first to tell a helicopter crew exactly where they'll find the first plant.
No, we haven't got yet.
Oh, dear, oh, dear.
You look finished.
Yeah. Oh, but how is it going, Scott?
Quiet word with you, gentlemen. We've completed 6 scans, but Eros' orbit is decaying fast. As you can hear, we're having trouble keeping her scanners correctly orientated.
But she will last the final orbit.
I don't think so.
It's got to, damn it. We've got to get a 100% scan of the entire country. Otherwise, the UN go ahead with the defoliation operation.
We're doing our best, sir.
What is the matter with the satellites?
The first results. It's working. It's actually working. Look at them. Thousands of entries. Oh, there you are, Miss Anderson. Now, sit yourself down at the console. That's it. Now then, that's the mass column.
This number?
That's the one. Hold on. Section 55. That's Senon Cove, near Land's End. And the nearest unit is helicopter Charlie 8. Now, here we are, Miss Anderson. Punch out Charlie 8's channel. Eros, control to Charlie 8. Do you read? Over.
Roger, Eros Control. This is Charlie 8 reading you loud and clear. Over.
Stand by for the grid reference, Charlie 8. It's so close to you, there's no need for you to take off. You can walk to it. Over.
Roger, Eros Control. Standing by. Over.
That's the number. You can just speak in my voice.
Hello, Charlie 8. Grid reference reads as follows: 270739440. Over.
Roger, Eros Control. Grid reference reads 270739440. Stand by.
It's only 50 yards from where they are.
What will have to be proven from all these map references is that Eros has the ability to detect single plants, not merely colonies of the plants.
It's 100% certain that all the colonies have been located and destroyed, Miss Anderson.
It sounds as if your satellite is in trouble.
We've just received a signal from NORAD. The Canadians don't think Eros will survive another orbit. They've timed the last orbit at 87 minutes 30 seconds.
Is that bad?
It's slowed down significantly. 86 minutes is the point when orbital decay is immediate.
You must have achieved a complete scan of the entire country if I'm to recommend calling off the defoliation to the Secretary-General. He's made it absolutely clear that I must have no doubts whatsoever that you can locate every plant.
Charlie 8 to Eros Control. How do you read? Over.
Loud and clear, Charlie 8. Did you find anything?
I had some trouble.
Dear God, no.
Because it was under some bracken. But it was right where you said it would be, within a yard of the grid reference position.
Now listen carefully, Charlie 8. How many plants were there?
How many?
Yes?
Well, that's why we had trouble. There's only the one, and it's no more than 3 inches high.
Yes. Dear. Yes, that's correct. Yes, we lost all telemetry a few seconds ago. Yes, thank you. Please keep me informed. That was NORAD. Eros is now burning up in the upper atmosphere. NORAD are tracking the debris and are predicting that they'll impact in polar regions, which means we've lost our final scan.
I'm extremely sorry, gentlemen. Believe me, very sorry indeed. If this could have ended any other way. If I could use the phone, please. Operator, I wish to put a call through to New York. I have a special number for you.
Now, let's just wait a minute.
I'm sorry, Prime Minister, but I have to make that call.
Flinders, what area of the country have we lost by not having that last scan?
East Anglia.
One of your most fertile regions, yes?
And one of the flattest. We now know where every Exxon strain in the country is except East Anglia. So we concentrate all our audio detector-equipped helicopters in that region to hunt for the Exxon strain and deploy all our other conventional forces throughout the rest of the country to destroy individual plants in their known locations. Is that feasible, Mr. Flinders?
Yes, we'll fly you over East Anglia today, Miss Anderson. And you'll be able to see for yourself just how easy it will be to eliminate the Exxon strain.
Well,
The telephone's there, Miss Anderson, if you want to use it.
What's the flame gun for?
My last task is to ensure that every Exxon strain in this climatorium is destroyed.
They're the only ones left, aren't they?
The only ones left in the world, Denise.
It doesn't seem possible. It's like a bad dream.
Do we have to burn them all? Couldn't we just save a few to continue Daddy's work?
Do you think he would want us to take that risk, Denise?
No.
Do you know why Urkel stopped his research? Because beans and peas fertilize the soil they're growing in by fixing nitrogen in that soil. And the Exxon strain fixed huge quantities of nitrogen. You see, the Urkel board thought it would ruin their entire fertilizer industry. The final irony about the whole business is that we'll have bumper crops next year.
Well, that's it. No more Exxon strain.
Oh, there's one there you missed. Here. The last one.
No. Let me do it. Give me the flame gun. Thank you. There. It's done. Now, take me home, please, Howard.
Oh, by the way, Blows, you knew I deliberately avoided answering Miss Anderson about our ability to detect Exxon strains growing under trees.
I guessed.
We need time desperately. I ought to thank you for keeping quiet, but I'll save it for next year, when we know for certain if we really have beaten them.
In The Destruction Factor by James Follett, the part of Max Flinders was played by T.P. McKenna, Howard Rogers, Paul Copley, Denise Exon, Rosalind Adams, Craig, Noel Johnson, Blurs, Michael Shannon, Miss Anderson, Diana Olson, Scott, Gerald Cross, helicopter pilot, Peter Wickham. The production was by David Spencer.